UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. Wolf Commander Wolf 10. We are back again with a topic that has been shelved for a while. I'm going to call this a second episode because the first episode where it was just me talking about it and not Leia last time, she was, you know that. You guys who have been here have known what happened that time. She had her own technical difficulties, so she wasn't able to join us. I don't count that as the first episode. No, the Leia Valor Returns was the first episode of talking about body positivity. So let's just not be around the bush. We're talking about body positivity again. The false body positivity, I mean. We're also going to talk about the positives of or at least the true body positivity with the Lady Valor here.
Oh, you thought you had more to say. Hello, everybody. This is Liv plus size, your lovely lady of valor, and I hope you all are doing good today. And even though we're going to be talking about body positivity, I really hope that we all have some fun here.
As fun as always, we have the man, the myth, the legend, and he's got quite a lot to say about this subject. He is the man with the FN. He is the man with the number, the Trooper FN 2525.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Trooper here from Imperial Occupied Balmora. I'm ready to talk about this stuff. Go ahead and start, putting your ideas in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the PC version of what's happened to pop culture and how athletic women are now ham beasts. Let's talk about it. So, I'm ready.
Let me address the chat before we do so. So, since we have one watcher, I don't buy that. But we have Mad Nui says, since it pertains to the topic, anyone else hate those stupid Halo top ads? Haven't heard of those? I'm pretty sure Trooper probably knows what those is. So enlighten me.
I love Halo top. Okay, but I gotta preface the fact that there's only one flavor of Halo top that I like, and it's mint chip. And the only reason is because I tend to kind of restrict my carbohydrates. It actually helps in terms of my cognitive function and performance to kind of limit my carbs to keep it at about maybe 100. Keep it at 100 grams, like at most per day. But that's my whole thing is this. And I know we're gonna get into it and all that stuff, but with Halo Top, it's kind of like it's a cheat food because it's low calorie, and I mean, as far as the sugars, it restricts my sugar intake. But as far as the commercials, yeah, they're completely missing. Well, they're not missing the mark, but they're definitely they are more or less targeting a demographic by
now or way back then.
Now I mean they're more or less targeting a demographic, selling them unrealistic standards. I mean we've gotten to the point where it's easier to shift the responsibility onto somebody else, and the commercial is like, oh, you look at the commercial and you're thinking to yourself, oh well, if I eat this, I'm going to be like, just like the person on the television set, or just like, depending what you're watching. We've gotten away from taking ownership about, over our bodies, and, treating food as fuel, and, eating to live and not living to eat. So, I mean, we are in a consumer society where everything is fast food, and it's now. And you'll notice.
Sorry, Trooper.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that ice cream brand?
I have not heard of that brand. I haven't. What is it called again?
Halo Top.
Halo Top. I can't think right now. I don't have it in my refrigerator, but I haven't really heard of it. Maybe I have, and I just can't think of it right now. But it's not one that I paid much attention to.
Honestly, it uses depending on which one you're looking at. I mean, it uses stevia. Me personally, I can't have too much stevia because my body more or less, if I have too much stevia, it starts reacting to it just like it would sugar. So I go back.
It's like one of those ice creams only rich folk eat.
No, not at all. The craze tends to be a ketogenic diet, or the craze also tends to be like the paleo diet or Mediterranean
Whatever. It looks like rich people ice cream. Anyways, we have Samuel Oleki. He says, hello all. Liz Harris and Sons 3.0. That's the third edition. It said, see you guys when it's time. Yes. Sorry it took a lot longer than normally do. I usually don't wait an hour, but we had an interesting conversation in the green room, so I was trying my best to finish it, but got carried away. I'll take all the blame there. That's all on me. All on me. You get me rolling. I can't stop. Sometimes but somehow I was able to stop this time around. Anyways, we have Brian Gil Martin. He says, anyway, this should be a fun topic as usual. Any topic is fun so long as we are able to make it fun, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and Manu says, I mentioned that because that's what body positivity was twisted into. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit. And Brian Gil Martin says, oh, I'm looking forward to what Trooper has to say.
No.
But he'll have to wait his turn.
Yep.
Leia goes first.
Well, the best way for me to express about body positivity is I have to use my own story and my own journey. And that's the best way for me to express that. As you guys know, when I was growing up, body positivity meant something that was totally different. It meant that you accepted your body, or accepted your body type, but you tried to take care of that. Case in point, for me, I've never been a single digit size. I take after my mother's side of the family. My father's side of the family, everyone is thin. They're just naturally thin. Even when they get older in their 70s and 80s, they just don't put on the weight, and they can eat anything they want and they just don't gain a pound. They are one of those people. Even with my dad, I have to get on about his diet because he just wolfs down a lot of high cholesterol foods, but it has not affected his weight at all. It's what he was used to eating when he was growing up, and he's still used to it now. But he never really gained a lot of weight despite all the food that he could possibly eat. But on the other hand, unfortunately, I did not get his genes. I got my mother's genes. On my mother's side of the family, we're all plus size people. And I got that I inherited from my mother. So I do think some of the body tissue in your body and some of your weight is genes. Whether part of it is whether you like it or not, it's some of the genes that you've been given with. And genes are something that you can't change. So I've never really been, my other sisters got my dad's genes. I got my mother's genes. So I've never been a single digit girl. And I've had to come to grips with that and struggle with that, because when I was growing up as a youthful person, I was of the MTV generation, and you saw the supermodels everywhere. Everywhere were the supermodels, the magazines, the music videos,
We'll
and
get
you
into
saw
that in a
them.
bit too.
Yep, and you saw their images, and you wanted to be what they were, and that can cause some other eating disorders that have quite about, which is anorexia and bulimia. Those can lead to that. So I had to find a way to build my own self-esteem. So I was curvy. Like I said, I've never been really a single digit. However, in recent times, after my last visit to my doctor for my regular checkup, I didn't get a very good report card. And my doctor
Nice
told me
way of putting it.
yeah, they're right, exactly. That changes had to be made. And I wanted to make those changes because I didn't like the way that I look, and I didn't like the unhealthy bad eating habits I had developed. I'll confess to that. So I worked to try to change those bad eating habits. Now, along with body positivity that I grew up with was loving and accepting the size that you are. Everyone just cannot be one particular size. Everybody is built differently. Some are shaped like apples, some are shaped like pears, some are shaped like triangles, and so forth. What I'm doing myself is I accept the body shape that I am, but I also come to realize that unhealthy habits are not good So some changes had to be made, and I was willing to accept them. I don't disagree with them. See, the thing is, I think both sides have points, and we're not listening to each other. You have the one side that hears body positivity, and they think, well, I am just proud to just be sitting on my fat self and on my couch and eating my 12-piece donuts and 12 cans of soda and my candy bars, and I'm not going to
Sounds like
exercise, and I'm going
Melissa
to laugh.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And laugh.
Goodness.
Yep, and laugh at all you people you do. Ha ha ha. That's what one side hears. The other side is saying, well, yes, I like the size that I am. However, I am not, I also accept that good diet and exercise are just important to maintain that. Now, I may not look like that, but I also admit that there is a pressure to look a certain way. And if you don't look a certain way, then you must not be taking good care of yourself. So I think both sides do have a point. My conclusion for myself that I had to come to grips with is yes, you can. The body positivity I grew up with is yes, I don't see anything wrong. I personally do not have anything wrong with a woman that is proud of the shape she is, because it takes a lot of
Mhm.
confidence to be yourself. It takes a lot of confidence to love to accept yourself. But before you can make those changes, you have to accept yourself first. Now, once you accept yourself first, then you can go and make the changes you need to be a healthier you. And that's what I've done for myself by changing my eating habits. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a slow process, but it can happen. I'm a work in progress. I've just got back into getting me a good physical fitness routine, but I've also accepted the fact I'm not going to be a supermodel shape or a size zero. That's never going to happen with
I'm going
me.
to add more to what you're saying right now, because I
Yep.
today I just started walking again.
Yeah.
Um, this time I actually changed my stride on how I run. I I switched from run like I was running in heavy armor, which I shouldn't be doing that because my imagination run wild. But I anime ran, and not in the sense of Naruto running. That's not anime running.
Mhm.
If you guys are familiar with anime, you know how they animate characters running. No matter what story or what kind of type of anime it is, they run with these big strides, like they're Olympic sprinters. Even though the character that you follow don't look like they're an Olympic sprinter, they're just running and bounce. But
Mhm.
but me, I'm real life, so of course I'm not gonna just burst into a sprint like they do. Just build it up and stuff like that. That felt good. That felt real good. And I
Mhm.
did like
Yeah.
there's this hill at this park that I do walk on.
Mhm.
So what I do when I approach that hill, I run up it, and I don't stop until I clear that hill, and I walk, come back, and I run up it again. And so far, I'm actually not having difficulty going up there like I used to. Because at first I started with walking, which it wasn't much of a difficult feat. It did feel like a strain because of course gravity and friction, right?
Mhm.
But the more I walked up it, obviously I was getting used to it, and then I started running, and that was a bit of a challenge too. Not
Mhm.
saying not saying that that I stopped like halfway up it. I stopped right near completion. But the more I kept doing it, the more, of course, it started becoming easier. But as of today, the four laps thing again, I just like got it got to my I played my favorite one of my my banging tracks, right, and I was like pop
Hmm.
pop 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 pop, and I was barely out of breath. Of course, considering that I have asthma, but like still like I'm able to control my breath control too. So far, it's one thing I learned, and I'm pretty sure the Leia Valley can attest to this too, that even if you stop, but when you come back, you're actually adding on what's already there, what you already established, right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm already established some fitness traits to my body. And the moment I got back into it, it's like basically being a Saiyan. You know, when you recover your strength. For those who are not in the know of Dragon Ball, they Saiyans recover, they get stronger. You know,
Mm.
it's kind of like that in a way. It feels like that. Not to the exaggerated level of a Saiyan though, because again, from from healing, you know,
Mhm.
injury and all that stuff, they get stronger. But in the case of me, it's like once if I take a let's just say I took a 2 week break from this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And just today I got back on it, and I'm like, whoa, I'm actually a little bit faster than I was back then. It feels more like I'm actually clearing the road, whereas the first time I was doing it, felt like I was taking forever to get up there, like like I was taking forever. But then it's like, I was like, oh shoot, okay. But continue what you're saying. Yeah, continue what you're saying.
Well, I'm back on my bike, and I'm like you. I get on my bike and I put my jams on that get me pumping and going, and I'm in the zone. And I do feel a whole lot better after I've set a schedule for myself. I put my
Mhm,
favorite jams on when I'm pedaling. I'm putting my bike on, and I absolutely enjoy it. I think that I do feel better. I usually do it at the end of the day, but I do feel a lot better when I do it. I can understand the benefits of getting some sort of exercise routine in because it does make me feel better, and I do feel good, and done afterwards, and I've set my own schedule. So I would just basically would have to say, but in a nutshell, with my own journey, that it's a balance of both worlds. My view, I think, what has happened is body positivity. It's got a negative connotation from the fembots. The fembots don't get what it's supposed to mean. Body
Yeah.
positivity, and that's why I think there's a clash when it comes to this issue. Why
Mm.
some people think when you say body positivity, they're thinking you're endorsing obesity. We're not endorsing obesity. Body, because they see the fembots saying that I'm overweight or I'm obese, and that is that, and you should love accept me for what it is. Well,
Mhm.
first of all, that's not what body positivity is, because I will be honest, I did not like the way my shape looked, and I wanted to do something about it.
Mhm.
So I, with my doctor's help and suggestions, I took the steps to start off to making it look better. So I'm proud about that. But what body positivity means is, first and foremost, you have to accept you first. You got to accept you first. You got to realize that I'm not going to be I'm not going to be the size of my sisters and my father's side of the family. That's never going to happen, and that's okay. And I accept that. However, I do want to have a good diet, and I do want to have a good fitness routine. So that's what body positivity, the one that I grew up with. So when you squash those together, you do come up with a balanced life, because we still have to remember that, like, again, everybody's just not going to have a shape like Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell was somebody I used to idolize when I was young, but
Mhm.
I realized I am never going to have her physique, but I can take care of the one that I have. So that's what body positivity is, what I grew up with, and what I think it does mean. It doesn't mean um body positive. I'm not afraid. In fact, I don't mind the word body positivity. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. I just think that the SJWs have distorted it. There's no need to take, for instance, a movie character or comic book character and change that character's body shape to prove something. There's no need for that. There's no need to do that. If
Uh-huh.
Starfire is shapely with long legs, Starfire should say shapely with long legs. If you're changing her into that, you're the one that has the issue, not that with the character. However, I don't see anything wrong with maybe featuring a character who maybe is plus size, but maybe in a positive way. There are plus size women, or full figured, or whatever you want to call it, or curvy in the world. So it wouldn't hurt to have, on the other hand, just have a character who's maybe curvy, but he or she takes very good care of themselves, because some they don't want to see any curvy characters, because and this is what boils my blood, and this is what I disagree with, is when I hear body positivity means endorsing obesity. I don't. honestly, I'm gonna be honest. That is not what I think when I hear it. That's not what I think when I talk about it. Body
Right.
positivity to me is loving and take care of yourself. But that doesn't mean I'm not against healthy lifestyle and exercise and a good diet, which I think everybody should have. So that's what I just wanted to clear up for my own situation. And I think you can do both. And then we just have to accept each other for what it is. Again, I go back to, the Nutty Professor, the Eddie Murphy with Sherman Klump, at the end of the film, there's two lessons. First of all, he had to accept who he was. He thought that Buddy Love is what he thought everybody wanted him to be, but he realized that he wasn't. But he had to accept himself. And
Hmm.
he said, I am going to lose weight, but I've got to accept myself no matter who I am or what size I am. Or say I've got to love myself for who I am. And that's the first that to me is the first start. And that's not what we're teaching. That's not what we're teaching. We seem to have this this just because a person doesn't this hatred. I can understand you want people to be better, and obesity is not healthy, but it shouldn't develop into a hatred of an obese person.
Hmm.
That shouldn't do that. Anything you want to do out of love and understanding. And my doctor did not have to insult me for me to realize that a healthier lifestyle was required. I listened to what she said and I put my own plan into action. And what they need is love, they need understanding, and they need acceptance. So there's no need for name calling. There's no need for yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help at all from my
Fat
Yeah.
experience.
phobe. You fat
Yes.
phobic.
So yes.
Well, there's
Yep.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a difference. There is a difference. You
Hmm.
know, when
Yeah, they put a phobia for everything.
like when I
Yeah. You
talk
Everything.
don't.
like when
Everything.
I talk about these Hambies, I'm talking about the Hambies that more or less have forfeited ownership and responsibility. I mean that's what
Hmm.
we're really addressing here. I mean,
Sure.
you're making the point
Sure.
of, there is a line when in terms of what is considered ownership and what is considered, hey, that's out of my control, but this is what I can do. And what, we're mostly addressing are the people that just throw all that out the window and say, hey, you know what, I should be able to do as I please, you know, behave as I please, and you just have to deal with it. It's like, move out of the way. It's one of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I agree with you. Yeah. There is such a
I'll
thing
give
as
you
I
a
just
third. I'll give a third option. I don't have to deal with seeing you in person. How about that? And you don't have to see me in person. You find me disgusting. I
yeah.
find you disgusting. Disgusting. There we go. We find some common ground. Now, bye bye. Bye bye. See you never.
Hmm.
But see, with that, you don't get anywhere. Even though you're right about the what's
Exactly.
there, you get it gets nowhere. No side wins. You don't have to
Exactly.
see me. I don't have to look at you, and you don't have to look at me. That's not how you do it. You get nowhere with that. No, we have to
Exactly.
look at each other. We have to look at each other, and you want to make sure that your concern of obesity doesn't develop into a prejudice or a hatred. What you want to address is you want that person to have a healthy lifestyle, but you don't want to hate them because they don't have it. Now, there are some, as Trooper said, that are out there, and I agree with you. I don't like that attitude either
Hmm.
of I'm a slob, deal with it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, deal with it. No, that's not good to have either. So I agree with you on that, Trooper. And we're seeing a lot of that more and more lately with the cancel culture,
Hmm.
because that's not a good attitude to have at all. So I can understand the stress in that. But if you want to stress that, you want to stress that out of love and understanding, not
Hmm.
out of hatred. You don't want to return the hatred with the hatred. And there's too much
Yeah.
of that going on nowadays. And that's probably the issue. Like well, if you don't have to look at me, I have to look at you. No, that gets us
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going on right now. That's what yeah, that's why it's nobody's really happy because we have this attitude of I don't want to look at you and you don't want to look at me, but that doesn't get you anywhere. It
Speak.
makes it worse.
Like look at my duck face selfie.
Since
That's
since
like
we're
a
on that,
selfie from 10
I'll
years
bring up
ago.
this point. Recently, there's been a you know, the singer Billie Eilish has caught heat for and this is still part of the topic too, but this is more than
Go
just the
ahead.
whole this is more than just the whole overweight stuff. Like when we also bring up body positivity, we also talking about how we're supposed to be liking all shapes and forms, right? All body types, right?
Hmm.
Right.
So So Billie Eilish caught heat for she didn't really expose anything. She just wore something sexy.
Oh my Lord. Oh
I'm
my
sure you
God.
guys
I didn't
probably
even
know what I'm
listen to
talking about.
like Billie Eilish. She
Yeah.
had like one good song and that was it.
I don't
And
really
she was
follow
on
her.
SNL and that was it.
Yeah,
All
I
I
don't really
know
follow
is
her.
girl with boring perpetual scowl.
Well, yeah, you can't show any cleavage, can't show any curve, can't show any thigh, can't show any skin. Might as
Just
well just wear a burlap sack and
I just see her as this
Don't
one face girl.
smile.
yeah,
That's
you
why I just
can't
call her.
smile, can't
It's
take
like
care of your hair.
yeah. I don't think she's doing that to appease the SJWs though. But I'm like that's her what's that word? That's
Image.
her gimmick. Her
Okay.
gimmick is that she shows no emotion to anything. Like she's manic depressant ish.
She
Well,
sings like it too.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't play her music in my she sings like it too. She sings like
I
she's
only play the
But
one
depressed.
song when I'm speeding. That's about it.
I only heard one song of hers, and that
Yeah,
was that was the that was
yeah,
it's the song they used for the credits of Brightburn, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's Billie Eilish.
yeah, yeah.
Never
Well,
would not have known that, but okay.
yeah,
It's just a
when I was
repeat of
speeding the
I'm a
bad
bad
guy,
guy.
you better believe I turned that up. So,
Ah, ha, ha. But no,
um,
what I'm saying was, she caught. In fact, not only that, she caught heat twice. She basically caught heat twice.
mhm.
She got heat the first time when she was on stage and she just basically exposed herself out in the open, which is funny because apparently, you know, for you to be a pop star, you gotta wear less clothing, right? And you're basically sexually liberating, right? But let somebody like Billy just start exposing herself the way she did on stage. Oh, suddenly that's a no. Wait, isn't she a star? She can do whatever the hell she want. And last time I checked, when she did that thing on stage, she was of. Their argument was that she was not of age, right,
Mhm.
to do
Okay.
that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she was. I'm pretty sure from where I'm sitting here, she looked like she was 20 at the time when she did that scene on stage.
Mhm.
So I don't know what y'all
Mhm.
talking about. You must that's really saying a lot about you. Y'all think she's a baby girl. No, she's a grown little woman. She's a grown little woman. But yeah. But that was the first time. Second time, of course, I guess it was a picture. I didn't really. I'm gonna admit, I didn't really go too deep into it. Of apart from just seeing titles of people, YouTubers of videos at the rate to cover that. And I didn't get a chance to really look into those videos to get more information on it. But apparently that's where they're going. On the same vein, we also I know last time we brought up the fact that what's that chick name again? She's usually my favorite. That English chick that was fat and then she got thin
Adele.
now.
Oh, Adele.
Adele. Adele.
Well, yeah, Adele, but there was another one.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
another.
What's her
She was in
face?
Pitch Perfect.
Oh, I can't think of her name. I know who you're talking about though. Her
Will
name's just
it's something
anybody in the chat know I posted. Yeah.
Rebel.
Rebel
Yeah.
Wilson.
Okay.
She she's
She's
yeah
Australian.
yeah that's right. Oh, I
Mhm.
love that one. Oh, I just wish her comedy wasn't limited to fat jokes or fat girl crashing into things and it's funny. She I've seen her at Night at the Museum. She has potential.
Well, I mean, we even had songs freaking glorifying fat curves in terms of
And she's
what's
a
her
very
face? What's her face? Megan Trainor.
mm,
Uh, we
All
had
about
that
that
going
bass.
on. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I that's in my I jammed to that, so I'm guilty about that. So
mm,
that's
Yeah.
hey, okay. I mean,
Yeah,
bigger
yeah,
me,
but
but
yeah, we've
I see
already
your point.
we've already established, some of the lines that involve healthy versus unhealthy,
mm,
mental and physical constraints, and we've established ownership and lack of responsibility. But you also have pop culture pushing it, so then it must be good. It's like
yeah,
they're
it's
not
like
telling you. they're not telling you, hey, this you should take responsibility as to what you put
Right.
into your body.
It's
Right.
like there are times I tell them, like, if it's not for us, then why are you trying to market it towards us?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to push it onto us as if we're supposed to like it? But on the same token, you're telling me we're not supposed to like it. I'm like, are we not supposed to like Billie Eilish? Are we not supposed to like what she does on stage? Are we not supposed to like what she does in the photo shoots? What is like who are you to tell us what we're supposed to enjoy or what we're allowed to enjoy? If you're not of that kind of brand, then don't make yourself out to be that kind of brand.
Mhm.
That is not if because if you're and that's another thing. If you're well aware what audience that kind of brand appeals to, then why are you trying to get to that audience? It's like uh it's righteous indignation. I
Yeah.
think I'm using that phrase right.
Well, it's like
I'm still
one of
learning that phrase.
the
Righteous
what
indignation. I like the sound of that. But I don't want to use it like the way how Inigo Montoya will point out. You keep using that phrase. I don't think it means what you think it means.
well, one of the reasons Rebel Wilson wanted to lose weight, what you're saying, Commander, is that she got tired of the fat jokes, fat chick roles.
Mhm.
She got tired of it. She got tired of. She wanted to be no more than just. She got tired of her, and I can understand what she's saying. I absolutely can understand what she's saying. That she got tired of playing the fat chick or the fat girl does something
Or a fat
ridiculous, and
friend.
it the fat friend. You're the fat friend. You're the fat best friend. You're the fat person that you load over everybody else's love life, but you don't have one of your own.
The llama. Yeah.
And, yes, I
Oh yeah.
hate to say it as much as I love Tyler Perry. Sometimes he uses that trope a little bit with the large
Mhm.
woman, and or you're
There's
there for
Cora. There was Medea, of course, and
Well,
yes,
many others.
there's so
He's
many
got a lot of them.
facets. There's so
yes.
many facets to this. I
He's a
mean,
lot of that, and it's very one dimensional to me. Because I studied drama also while I was go,
mhm.
and again I was plus size, so it was
Right.
always the fat friend, the bad husband, the sister who thinks all men are dogs, the one that you put everybody else's love life together, but you don't have one yourself. You know, the one that says, y'all know y'all like each other. Get on there and get together and make that marriage happen. Or you're the mama in the kitchen whipping up the biscuits, singing the
Matchmaker.
dinners come in. Yeah, you're the matchmaker. You're the overzealous religious woman. You're all these tropes, and I got bored because I'm like, is that all they see in a plus size woman? That a plus size woman cannot be anything else? And actually, I learned this because when I was plus size modeling, the woman who was a great teacher taught us not to be afraid of sensuality. And I told
Mhm.
her, why should we? Because she says, don't, why should we? Because we're large, we're told. And she told me, you have to unlearn all of that stuff. You have to unlearn this notion of somebody telling you that you can't be sensual because you are large. And we had to get ready to, yeah, we did. We did a photo shoot where we were in like sensual, not naughty,
Yeah.
but
Of
Yeah.
sensual
course.
Right. Well, yeah. There's different.
poses because she
Right.
wanted us to start myself to accept you can be sensual and seductive and all these things they tell you that you're not. And she was and she showed the portfolio of when she did it because she was a professional model for a time being. She did shows out of state. She went around the world. She modeled in I think she modeled in France for a little while as a plus size woman because she showed us the photographs and everything. It was the late, she said, and this was in the early to middle 80s when I was doing all of this.
Mhm.
And she said, and because I had been conditioned that that's the one thing that you stay away from, that you can't be, you have to be
They
goofy
don't
or
want
silly.
competition. That's what it sounds like to me. It
Yeah.
sounds like they didn't want no competition.
Oh yeah.
Once you put yourself out there, that means you are now their competition. And of course, once they see, they see that, and once that person puts themselves out there, that's where they put themselves on the market. And of course, people are going to be attracted to the new. And what I mean by the new, I mean I'm talking about the person who's new, but also is going to put themselves out there and put work into it. They're actually going to make a return and investment. Of course they want you out. They want you on the side as always, sticking to the stereotype. That's
Mhm.
and that goes for any situation, either being you gay, black, straight, Mexican, Chinese,
Yeah,
uh,
Oh
because
uh,
man.
they're very fun. They're very
uh,
comfortable
uh,
when.
roots and
Mm-mm.
Bush.
Oh
You
goodness.
know,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Bush or no Bush. They don't want competition. Bottom line, they don't want that competition because that means, oh, now I gotta work.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
to them back then they didn't need to work, but now that when competition brings in, oh, now I gotta work.
That's right.
and
You
then
gotta
and then
work.
and then they start griping. Oh, it was so simple. Now I gotta work so hard. Now it's hard to be this. Now like, but are you actually putting in? Well, no, but it's still hard. Well, are you putting in? It's still hard. Who cares if it's hard? Are you putting in? How how do you choose to check out once your time comes? How do you choose to check out? Either sitting on your behind on that couch, or you gonna step on stage, put on your best face, put on your best posture, and just go out with a bang, regardless of whether you in it or not. You know, or you branch
Mhm.
out to something else that you're gonna like more so than what you were doing originally. Basically, adapt. What I'm saying is adapt. When you finally adapt to something that goes beyond what you used to do.
Mhm.
But I'm talking
and
about
that's
something else that's not really
no,
completely connected. But I mean,
no, because
it fits somewhere, or at least it'll fit somewhere eventually. But go ahead, Leah plus size.
no, I was going to say that's probably why she was so successful for a long time. The woman that because she helped us, but she also trained us as well. And she always said, even if you don't want to pursue modeling as a full time career, these are skills you can take in everyday life. You don't have to just use it on a runway or a catwalk. You can use it in every aspect of your life. When you walk in a room, when you meet people, when you're going out or anywhere you go, you want to carry that everywhere you go. In every aspect of life, you want to look your absolute best and feel good and positive about yourself. And if you do that, that will reflect on other people. But like you said, Wolf, to some, it could be a threat because they some want you to stay in that role of, well, I'm the fat shy woman that sticks in the corner and I don't know how to dress and I have to go through someone to come in and make me over in the pretty woman montage and make me into something great instead of me knowing how good I look myself. So a lot of those skills I picked up. That's why to me body positivity is different than when I was because she got me to unlearn that. And it's
Mhm.
just like what you said. Now that person becomes a threat because I think about Rebel Wilson. Well, now she's a threat to other actresses because now she's smaller, but that means maybe she can start getting other roles other than the roles that are humiliating, like being the fat chick that always gets the laugh. Maybe now that she
Thou,
can
sh-
step out
thou
of
shalt
that.
thick bone.
Mhm.
I
And you
mean, bro, look, I'm gonna admit this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm gonna admit
go
this.
ahead,
I
go
still
ahead.
I still I still love Rebel thick. Okay, that lay is a marshmallow to me, a cute little marshmallow, mind you.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she sings real good too. She sings real good, and she's physically fit in that size too. I mean, the woman can cover freaking rails, for Christ's sake. She covers rails really good. You know, unless I was a
Mhm.
stunt double in a fat suit I was watching the whole time, and then that'll shatter my freaking dreams right there. But I still love her all the same because she still got a good voice, and she's got that hip lingo that kind of gives her that charm, that kind of charm to
Right.
her.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I've seen her in other stuff where she's not being this whole punchline, a fat joke, or the or just she's going. This is what I like to call it, going the way of Melissa McCarthy, where she in the case of Melissa McCarthy, she stretches out a joke that that only her husband thinks is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
see,
I
we can
agree.
talk. We'll talk about her in a bit more. I'll talk about her in a bit more.
Well, there's a YouTube
But
video.
look at. I'm sorry. I'm almost finished. I'm sorry.
Go
I'm
ahead.
almost finished.
Hmm.
I love her. I still love her now. Now she went that step to take care of her body. So looking at her now, I'm like, bruh, Rebel Wilson looking like a Hershey cookie cup right now. She came from marshmallow to Hershey cook. Wait, that's cheap. No, that'd be disrespectful. No, she came from a marshmallow to a s'more. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That good on you, Weber. Good on you. Same to you, Adele. Yeah, Adele went the extra mile to it. I'm like, that's a thing. I'm gonna get to another bottom line. You know how we look to people for heroes, right? At
Yeah.
least how we look up to people and call them our heroes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't try to see in the case of me, my hero will always was originally was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Still kind of is, but that's only because I like the ferocity of him being a muscle head, or at least an action star, right? In the same vein, my hero, Asian hero, would have been Bruce Lee, rest his soul, because he was so that ferocity and the quickness of his strikes and stuff, and his, excuse me for the expression, no fucks given attitude he always carried in these movies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes.
see you, fist go one way, your head go the other. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Jet Li on the same vein, if you want to go into that spiritual side of things, yeah, he had the rawness and the ferocity too, but he layered dip into that spiritualness, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to Fearless, Hero, um, even Unleashed. Unleashed had a little bit of spiritualness too. Um, or in the same vein, some people could say Mel Gibson's their hero if they want to be an asshole, excuse me, or at least outside of his stardom. But if you look to him as a hero in the movies, oh yeah, you want to be a badass just like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing though, I never looked to these heroes wanted them to become me, or me to become them, or at least use them as an avatar for me. So me being a kid, Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't gonna regress to no baby kid like I was with a little baby belly, you know. When we start off, we had them baby bellies that poke out
Right.
like
Hmm.
little pregnant children.
Oh
No,
goodness.
I did I did not expect him to become me. These days now, they want their heroes to become them
Right.
instead of them trying to be inspired by them. So Adele
Rebel.
and Rebel, thank you. They wanted Rebel to stay the way she was because they wanted her to become them, basically fat sloths. Rebel dances, Rebel sings, Rebel acts. She's not sitting on the couch all day like you are petting your cat or kissing your dog or laying in bed with both
Mm-hmm.
like they your man. Okay,
Exactly.
I went dark there, but whatever.
No, no,
Here
no,
we
no, no,
are.
no, no, no. I was waiting for you to finish.
Go ahead. I'll stop right there because I pretty much ended on a on an extreme note there. So go ahead,
That's
guys.
that's a nice dream. Again, me personally, since this is a personal subject to myself, um, I I I actually admired what they did and applauded what they did, and it was a
Hmm.
motivation to me. Also, another person was Queen Latifah. I always
Yeah,
admired how Queen
I was about to bring
Latifah
her up
was
too.
all
Go ahead.
yeah has always been proud of who she is. In that movie Just Right, she looked great. She looked absolutely great in Just Right. But
Hmm.
same thing with her. She's never apologized for who she was, but she never endorsed a negative lifestyle either.
Now
Uh,
she does star in that one Equalizer show, and I'm not gonna watch that.
Me neither.
One
We'll
big.
just, for the sake of this conversation, we'll just talk about just right. Equalizer is a lost cause, so I get you.
Hmm.
I get you on that one.
Mhm.
But for Rebel and Adele, I do agree with you. They wanted them. They think that Rebel and when Rebel and Adele said that they were comfortable with their figure, they were hearing, well, exactly the way you said. Well, if they were hearing, well, they must be lazy slobs like myself and love to eat the wrong things and be unhealthy. But that's not what I got from the two of them.
Mm-mm.
I didn't get that when I heard positivity from them, because as you said, Rebel sings, she dances, and we all know what a great voice Adele has.
Hmm.
So, and how Adele is, like I told people, even if she's small, if she makes another slamming record, I'm going to buy it because I love to hear her vocals. I love to hear her sing. That's not the reason why I was a fan of hers. I was a fan of hers because I loved her voice and the music that she made. But that's not what I got from when I heard them. So when they did lose the weight, I didn't feel shame of them at all. And for Adele, I can understand why she did it, because she in her personal life she was going through a stressful time. So, and it probably she probably developed some unhealthy habits during that stressful time, and she wanted to do better for herself. I
This
totally
is
applaud that. I
this is
totally
being
do.
attacked on by people who supposedly trying to tell us that we're supposed to be more respectful of people's mental disabilities.
Right. But you nailed it. They want their heroes, they want these women they look up to be like them, and when they're not like them, now they want to diss them. Yes, I still think you don't ignore the fact that there is a pressure to be a certain size in Hollywood, but I think for the most part, if they are doing it for themselves and they turn out great and they develop great eating habits, they should be applauded. Now, they probably have better means than an average person because they probably have chefs and cooks and financials and personal
Hmm.
trainers and the
Hmm.
time put in to get them to where they're at. So we do have to take that into consideration, and the celebrities have to take that into consideration. The average person doesn't have financially what you have, but we as other people, it should not be an excuse for us not to get better, because we have to find our own way for
Let me
what
go ahead and
we have.
add something else to it because I'm jiving what you're saying. Definitely jiving what you're saying. We may not have the means to you know to get that advanced type of treatment like they do, but
Hmm.
damn it, do
Yeah.
we find ways to achieve it somehow?
Yes,
Some
I agree.
it's like the whole Rocky and Ivan Drago situation in Rocky 4, right? Yeah, Rocky 4. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
I like to liken what we have as average common folk, right? Let's or peasants as you know as the common term of back in the days, and you got the rich folk, which is the hierarchy of rich folk, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I like to liken Rocky's little lo- Paul Bunyan training to Ivan Drago's futuristic training. They got the futuristic training, we got the lumberjack training.
Right.
And let's just say this: I wouldn't know which one would win out, out of that at best, because Rocky is all Rocky first and foremost will always be a fantasy. So we will never know what real life statistics would bring to the table in terms of if real life were to happen between Rocky and Ivan Drago, right? In
Right.
that real life fight, because that was just a fantasy. Of course, Rocky's going to win and take those hits, like those what was it, Trooper? What 48 4800 psi at best? Let's be
Yeah.
kind, 1200.
Yeah.
He was taking those type of hits, and somehow he came out on top. But apparently, they addressed it in Rocky 5, but still, like he was still alive after all those punches, right?
Mhm.
So I'm saying, like, they have the advanced training, but we also have the lumberjack training. But again, it really all depends on the individual, how well they use it and who wants it more. But at the end of the day, we are both reaching a common goal: healthy lifestyle. Period.
Mhm.
Healthy lifestyle. that's where our point was going. Really, our goal matches the same, whether no matter how the means we achieve it. And again, we don't take shortcuts. That's another thing. We don't take shortcuts, right? A lot of people tend to take shortcuts like Slim Fast,
Yes.
Jenny Craig. I don't even know what the heck Jenny Craig does. I don't even know the
uh,
bitch personally. Excuse me.
I will tell you more or less. All right. So when we talk about companies like that, we're talking about you're literally paying another company to manage your calorie intake. It's what it is. Uh,
That's all I
what
need to
they're
know.
doing is they look at you.
And he's going.
Okay, what's your desired weight? Oh well, I'm a fatty, but I want to be like Nia Peoples. Okay, well, we'll set you up with a plan and you pay us X amount a month or every 6 months, and we mail you the food that you're gonna eat.
Yeah, and
I,
it's not
I,
very good food either.
yeah, I don't know of anyone that would find that to be slightly enticing that you eat something that's sent to you out of a box. At that point, you're basically livestock. I mean,
Hmm.
you're paying for your own trough. Like, I don't understand it. And then you get all these big names that have done it. What was it? Marie Osmond, wasn't she on that stuff for a while?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Maria. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah, how that Donnie and Marie, like, for a while, for the longest time, she was like a
Hmm.
big thing of Jenny Craig, I think it was.
Hmm.
And all it is you're paying someone to take ownership of your responsibility, which is the weirdest thing to me, because you should want to be involved in what you put in your mouth, in terms of your health, in terms of your physicality, in terms of, I'm at point A, what's my goal. I think we've established the fact that, you know, they've hijacked the term, body positivity. And really what we have now is, on our camp, what we're saying body ownership. And on the side of the pink scalps, they're saying body positivity now.
Hmm.
Even though that term has not changed, they, for lack of a better term, they appropriated it to mean that you should accept me as I am, with all of my uh, diabetic, issues, with all the, yeah, it's like, with you should accept my toxic womb and you should want to propagate with me. It's like, no.
And here I thought was going the extreme. This is where we go with these streams, man. I mean, I'm telling you, you tell your friends
Well,
about
here's the
us.
thing.
This is where we
Yeah.
go. This
Well,
is where we
here's the
go.
thing.
This is the entertainment, guys. Come on. Y'all
It's
looking y'all looking
there's
for I'm sorry, Trooper.
uh,
Y'all looking for entertainment that ain't gonna talk down to you or talk down upon you. You come here, okay? You come here.
you come
We shoot
her.
the
You come her.
we come here. You come here. Listen to us shoot the shit. Excuse me.
Okay. So, well, here's the thing. Um, how Okay, you know what, let me take it back a bit further. When you were talking about running up that hill and
Hmm.
over, more or less overcoming a mental deficit of, once I get to that light post, or that hill, that's where I stop running. Your body likes to be homeostatic in order to pick up any type of what we would call, say, a positive habit. Science and research has shown that it takes up to about 4 weeks. And even if you're talking to like a life coach or anything like that, they're going to want you to do repetitive habits for at least a month, so that your body starts becoming acclimated to, this is what normal is. And that's a real cool cheat in terms of being able to use homeostasis, or being homeostatic to your advantage. So if you're doing, say, that walk between here and the dog park, when you take the dog for a walk, and you're doing it every day religiously between 5 and 6 p.m., and you stick to that, it becomes something that you want to do. Your body now wants to do it. It's hard to explain unless you've picked up the habit already, that your body will tell you what it wants to do.
Hmm.
And the thing is, that also can go to a very bad place when we're not practicing good eating habits or good mental habits. You'll basically just fall into bad habits, and because that is normal, hey, you know, I can't do anything about my situation. Woe is me. Upset me for who I am. You know, blame it on the juice. If Lizzo can look like that, you know, you should want me, you know, for looking bigger than Lizzo. It's
Oh,
okay.
we'll put her on the list of negative portrayals of body positivity right there. Her
Well,
and Tess Holiday.
well, here's the thing. Okay, so let's say you have a life coach like Leia, or say you're like me, who just needs to just be
Give you some
informed.
tough love.
Be informed just to kind of know where I'm at, you know, so that I have a
Or give
place
you
to
some tough
navigate
love.
from. Like, you know, one of the things that you come to find out is that, you know, the United States is literally like number 2 in the world in terms of calorie consumption, in terms of daily intake, and we're looking well over 3,000 calories. We're looking at maybe 3,700 calories a day. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially in relative to what a daily lifestyle for the average American is. Okay, so you work for 8 hours a day. You go home and you watch your Netflix. You know, you watch your Castlevania, and then you're like, man, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. So you've already had more calories in than you've burned. So what are you going to do with all that excess energy? Well, you're just going to go to bed. Your body's going to be like, well, you know what? I'll store it for a rainy day. And that's how it starts. Um, I think one of the things that, you know, we should definitely put on the stream is that, you know, we're also one of the top consumers in sugar, just
Hmm.
processed sugar. The United States and
Mhm.
Canada, we're up there. As far as I know, last time I checked, between the US and Canada, Canadians and Americans consume about 100 to 126 grams of sugar a day. That's a lot. Um, and what I have to do, and I bring this up because not every diet, you know, everyone wants to go and do the cookie cutter diet. Oh, well, what worked for you? Oh, well, I did this. Okay, so I'm going to go run and do the cabbage soup diet. It doesn't work like that for everybody. Everybody's different.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, you have to look at your medical history. Like, I have a medical history of having family members that tend to develop cancer. I have also a history within, you know, family members that also tend to run along the vein of being diabetic. Um, if I'm not watching what I'm doing, whenever I have the physician check me out, I always run. You know, I'm not hyperglycemic, but I tend to run higher than what would be considered normal sugar levels. But I'm not diabetic. It's something that my doctor always says to me: hey, whatever sugar you're consuming, you're going to have to consume half of that, because for whatever reason you like to run on the high end. And if I look at my daily activities, usually it's being consumed through coffee. So, you know, one of the things that I have to do as a conscious choice is take out the sugar and use a substitute. I can't use stevia because my body reacts to stevia like it would sugar. That might not be the same for you. It might not be the same for Leia. Leia could probably, you know, put stevia in her coffee and be fine. For me, I use stevia. My body treats it just like it would treat sugar and starts reacting in the way that it would with processed sugar. So I've gotten to the point where I use Swerve, or I'll use what is that? It's Latenko, or it's what it is. It's erythritol and monk fruit. So I'm literally using more or less a refined alcohol as opposed to a refined sugar, and that's literally to just kind of keep my sugar levels at base. But considering that we're talking about this stuff, you know, given the data that came out in 2017 and 2019, non-Hispanic Black adults. So if you're Dominican Republic, take yourself out of this one. But like, non-Hispanic Black adults have the highest prevalence of self-reporting obesity at about 39%. So that's really sitting right on that 40%. So we're going almost half. And you also have to look at what the American diet looks like and how that correlates with income status also. The second demographic that also tends to be obese is Hispanic adults, which runs about 33%. So definitely more than a little over 1 in 4. So, I mean, you have to look at what the daily diet looks like. If we're
Right.
yeah, it's like, what are you consuming? Maybe you're one of those people that's actually eating healthy, but there's someone out there who's more or less relying on processed sugar, sugary cereals, sodas, candy, not only candy, salty snacks, which just raise, you're raising your sodium intake. So, for me, in order for me to pretty much function like normal, I need to have more or less a lower carbohydrate intake. My fat content tends to be a little on the higher side, but I also have to watch the proteins that I'm pretty much digesting, because too much protein, your body converts it to sugar. So if it's not going to get sugar from the actual source, it's going to get it from somewhere else, and it's going to be in terms of base proteins. So you're going to get a protein to sugar conversion. But herein lies the thing too. When we talk about this stuff, again, the US and Canada tend to consume the most proteins because we're in a first world country.
Trooper,
So
just to interrupt real quick, I
Yeah.
gotta say this. If we were an elite, you would be the science.
well, this is stuff that I have to look at too. Like,
Of
when we
course.
talk about stuff like this,
Of
it's like,
course.
it's one of those things that it's a disservice to not talk about it, and definitely
Right.
not expose the audience to this kind of stuff, to where it's like they can, they can follow along and they can check the stuff out, and they're like, yeah, that checks out. Yeah, that checks out. So, and that's the other, like I was saying before too, we also tend to consume the most protein. Again, we're a first world country, so everything is at our fingertips. We can go to a Chick-fil-A, we can go to McDonald's, we can go to a Target, we can go to a Walmart. There is not one instance where you're literally burning calories to say grow livestock or gardening or doing any type of horticulture, to where while you're growing those crops, you're consuming calories. Because we live in a very convenient consumer-based society now, where if you want something, you order it, you go out or you buy it, or you go ahead and you trade for it, in terms of, hey, you know what, let me turn this in form of credit.
Dang, Trooper, you scared 2 people away. We were at 5 watchers.
they're, they're like, man, I'm on the heavy side. No, but
Oh.
but yeah, it's one of those things where, we're talking about body positivity, and we know the subject because we're intimately wrapped up in it one way or another. And comics and mainstream television and films are portraying it as a completely different thing. And we were talking in the green room about Asian females and body frames, and then we were also talking about movies like Kill Bill. And it's like, yeah, you don't see bodies like that now, because now that's what fat shaming. Oh, I'm fat shaming you. I'm making you feel like dirt. Well, that to me
I don't
sounds
even
like,
know you.
yeah, I don't know you. I don't know what your lifestyle is. I don't know your genetic background. Something that I eat,
You never even approached me about that.
might
Yeah,
affect you
I'm the
differently.
bad guy.
Like we know Leia's genetic background. We know mine. Where it's like you have a high instance of cancer and you have a high instance of diabetes. And it's one of those things. I have to eat differently than Leia. Leia eats differently than me. I mean, we both have different body goals. Whether we're looking to slim down or we're looking to perform better. Especially with me having a brain injury from about a year ago.
You humans have to do all that. I just gotta eat an elk.
Right. So yeah. So even looking at meats too, like, I mean, those are all choices, and you don't learn any of this in school. You really don't. So
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
you
You
come
only know
out in real life.
You only know the nutrition facts.
Yeah, you come out. You come out of college with all this, critical race theory, and you don't even know how to make proper food choices. So what do we do now? We put you in
Because
pig blood. Yeah,
fitness is white supremacy.
Yes, and it's not.
Yes,
It's
that's ridiculous.
okay. We've gone from FloJo to Lizzo. That's
Mm,
what I gotta say.
I
That's
miss
what I gotta say.
FloJo.
You
I
don't
miss
see
FloJo.
FloJo anymore. You see Lizzo.
Let me look her up. Let me look her up. You got me nostalgic now.
And we've gone from Mary Lou Retton to Rebel Wilson, but Rebel Wilson decided to make a conscious choice, and whether it was for career or her lifestyle.
Oh yeah, Flo. Oh my goodness, I'm melted.
Yeah,
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. I'm melting right now. I gotta say
yeah,
myself. Oh my goodness, Flojo.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, Flo. Whoa.
What is it? We've gone from Luke Cage to Bernie Mac. you know,
Hey. Bernie Mac was cool. He
you
didn't
know,
need, he didn't need no change. No,
you know.
you talking about Luke Cage to Lavelle Crawford.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, I was looking at one of the posts
Oh my
where
goodness,
Brian
Flojo.
had said that he had
Girl,
just had
hang
an
on.
arm
Is
workout with
Flojo
his
still
dad.
alive? I'm sorry. Is Flojo still alive?
I think she passed away some years ago.
No.
I think. Look
You
up
got
her
to wiki
Man,
that.
Wikipedia.
You got to
See,
wiki that.
yeah, wiki that.
when in
I
doubt,
think,
Wiki.
yeah,
Oh
wiki
my goodness. Don't say
information.
it ain't so. Please.
Oh dear,
Please say
give
it
her.
ain't so.
I mean, we've gone from FloJo to Serena Williams, and I mean, Serena's like, oh well, that's because I'm a woman. It's like,
Oh
no.
goodness. Oh.
It's like,
Less said about
did
less
that
said
ever
about that
stop
woman, the
athletes
better.
being athletes? It's like, how's
Yeah,
an
she
athlete,
dead to me. I'm sorry.
you know, now that we're playing pretend gender switches, now that we're pushing transgenderism, yeah, now you have these quote women breaking these records, and it's a dude who's breaking a women's
No,
weightlifting
she died
title.
September 21st, 1998, at age 38.
Yeah,
Yes, she died at
yeah,
38. Oh, Wolf, I thought you knew.
I was young. I was ignorant.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
Not
I mean,
okay.
98. I was still in middle school.
and I bring up
I think
athletes
I probably. You know
and
what?
mentors like FloJo to make the point
Speaking of
that
FloJo, I
our
think my
mentors
mom
have
probably
changed.
mentioned it, and I probably forgot
Like,
about it as a kid.
it's
Sorry.
like we're changing the people that we look up to. Like, we're not looking up to athletes that train every day, that tell you, hey, you can do it if you put your mind to it, and you have to put in the sweat to get the outcome. We're not getting that anymore. Now it's like, oh, you should love my luscious curves and you should blame it on the juice. And then you have her putting herself out on TikTok, and it's like, you shouldn't be ashamed of any of this. And it's like, okay, well, I get it. You're not ashamed of any of that. But what's the message that you're sending? It's like you should be more cognizant, more than anyone, as to you know how people are economically impacted in
Dang,
terms of
Trooper, you keep
health.
this going. We're gonna lose watchers, man. We down to two.
Oh my goodness.
You're the watcher killer now. I'm gonna call you.
Right,
That's what you think now.
right.
You're the watcher
I,
killer. No, I'm kidding.
I thought we
It
were
went
being
back to three.
positive. I just
You
remembered.
see,
You got.
I
You,
i'm
guess, I
telling you
guess,
i'm telling you
I guess
Well,
they hate when Trooper gets all educational.
no.
Trooper, we were trying to give them a positive message. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
goodness. I guess.
yeah.
He is. It's just too educational. They can't handle too educational.
They can't handle that. They have to make the conscious choice to be on top of what they choose to do. It's about ownership. And that involves being positive about the ownership that you take. I think we've talked about this before. It's um I think you've told me, Leia, before that, in terms of from where you started to where you are now, you have to make the conscious decision of, I'm okay with where I am right now, and that being okay with that, now I can move forward with what I want to do. And I
Yeah.
think it was like, and it was like
Yeah.
that for me too. I mean, when
Hmm.
back when I was bulking up, I had to, as a guy, because same thing with guys. It's like, the expectations are there that, hey, you got to at least look good. You have to.
Well,
So,
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to mention,
uh,
since we talk about heroes and the actors who played them, for all those out there that like your heroes, are Steve Rogers or Thor or Superman. Those actors all had to hit the gym when they
yep,
took those roles. They
yep,
had to change the way, every last one of them had to change their lifestyle for those roles.
yep,
So to get the physique they needed on camera. So
yep.
those bodies just didn't. As beautiful as they are, they didn't have. They weren't born with them. Let's just put it like that. They
Yeah,
weren't born with them. You know.
they didn't bath into existence.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah.
bath into existence with that kind of body. Not even Hercules. Kevin Sorbo was born like that at
Yep.
all.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And
Right.
Kevin Sorbo, a tall dude. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody know that or not. Kevin Sorbo was a tall dude. I wish I look. I could sit here and wish I was tall, but man, oh man, whenever time I fix my posture,
Hmm.
I stand tall. I may
Mhm.
not be as tall as Hercules, but bruh, I stand on my own 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right there. Whenever time I look at Superman,
Mhm.
Hercules, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Conan,
Yep.
or who's another hero of mine? Let's go with the Power Rangers then. I stand tall, and
Yep.
I try to impart that on people like, hey, fix your posture,
Yeah.
fix your posture.
It
I'm
starts
telling
in the mind. Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you fix your posture, straighten your back, boy, straighten up your back and pull up your pants, straighten up
Yep.
your back.
Yep. Yep.
Look,
Yep.
if you really want to be taken seriously, you need to look important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to
Yes.
look. You need to
Yes.
look like you worth a damn.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Because even let's say you go to a job interview, if you're not putting your best foot forward, what's stopping them from hiring the person that comes in and interviews after you or before you?
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Competition. You gotta take to account. You whether you like it or not, you're gonna have competition. Even if you don't believe in even if you don't have a competitive side, and if you don't believe in competition, you are going to have competition
Yeah.
Yes.
regardless.
Yeah.
In fact, there's somebody out there that's competing to be the most laziest out of you. If you're about that lazy life, there's
This is
somebody out
very
there.
true. This is very true. There's always someone. There's always someone out there who will outlazy you. Like
hmm
there just is. That's
that
that's
and there's always somebody that's it's usually the lazy bones that's always trying to one up somebody by
yeah.
words. By the way, mind you, they always trying to one up you by words. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
so that's your claim to fame, right? That's what you're proud of. Okay, I'm not going to even list my accomplishments because I'm already proud of what I achieved, and
Right.
you are not worth the time of listening to that. I'm going to listen to the people who has made similar accomplishments or at least their own accomplishments, not
Yeah.
somebody like you who's basically sitting around taking up air that
Hmm.
I wouldn't even spare if we were on life support in this.
Yeah.
If we're on life support on space station. Call me a dictator all you want, call me a Nazi all you want. A Nazi wouldn't
Well,
even care what you think either.
look at what our athletes are preaching now. They're not preaching, put effort into everything you do. They're preaching, I need more money because a man makes more than I do. And I'm referring to Rapino, but
I
you
I,
know,
I I'm give
Yeah.
I
Yes.
need
That's
to
what they're
be
saying
given
right
what
now.
I owe, what I'm owed.
yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
Yeah.
owe
I'm the
you
female.
anything?
I'm the female here, so I should get the $1 million paycheck, even though I'm not
Right.
that good. I'm still the female, so
Yeah,
therefore, I should be getting it. No, I'm not the greatest ever, but I'm the female, so
yeah, yeah.
I should be rich.
I'm
This,
No,
like,
no.
this,
look,
And it goes
I'm
the
like,
same with freaking women's basketball. I mean, men's basketball funds that. I mean, if they weren't funding it, there wouldn't be a WNBA. And it's like,
right, right.
who really watches that?
I'm
I know
sitting here.
we
I
I'm like,
don't.
don't.
Yeah,
I have
we
no
don't.
shame. I
I,
have
I
no
I'm
shame
couldn't
to
like,
say.
I couldn't tell you any female basketball player names, but I can name, previous, male basketball players that have gone on since after doing sports. They've been in film, they've created their own companies.
I'm gonna
Same with,
tell it like it is, like this.
yeah.
Look, did I hire you because you are female? Am I paying you because you're a female? Because last time I checked, when you came in here and listed all your accomplishments and what you went through to get to this spot in this job.
Mhm.
And you being female was not on that list. So what makes you think I should be giving you $1 million because you are a female? I could have sworn I'm supposed to be giving you $1 million because you're an athlete and you're supposed to be out there working
Mm-hmm.
your athleticism. So, sweetheart, miss me with that BS about you getting a lot of money because you're female. I didn't hire you because you're a female. I hired you because you're an athlete. So
Yep.
go out there, dribble that ball, and make some money.
I have no shame in saying I am no fan of the WNBA. I've never watched it. I still don't watch it.
Probably,
I personally feel that
probably wasting your time.
that
There's probably a bunch of mean
I'm
girls
sorry,
there.
they just don't move like the guys. They try
Yeah.
to, but they don't. They just
Just
don't. Yeah. Well, already one of them is complaining that how come she doesn't have $1 million sneaker endorsement like the guys.
did you work
I
for
forgot
that?
who the player
No.
was, but I forgot
Did
what she
you
is.
work
She's
for
really
that?
I had completely forgotten
interesting.
about that. I
Did you even
completely forgot
ask
about
for
that.
it?
Hmm.
Did you even talk to your agent about it?
Yep.
Where was your mindset at when you thought about that? Because last time I checked, you that didn't just come out of the blue out of your mouth.
Yep.
That didn't just creep into your
Hmm.
mind. You obviously ain't doing nothing
Well,
about
see,
it. You Yeah, go ahead, Leia. Go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Here's the thing: in the Olympics, the ladies gymnastic competition is the highest rated. In the Winter Olympics, the ladies free skate and figure skating is the highest rated of the
I
competition.
wonder why.
The men's
Yep.
skate, I've never heard male skaters complain. They're not giving us enough time for us male skaters. It's always the lady skaters. And I never hear men's gymnastics complain. Well, men's gymnastics is not getting enough.
Yeah.
Our ratings are high.
Truth
You
be told,
never
we
hear
never
men complain
complain
about
about
that.
anything other
Yeah.
than
Mm-mm.
not getting enough work. We
Yeah.
don't complain about not having enough money. We mostly complain about not. Dude, we're hardwired to working. We when we
Yeah. Yeah.
complain,
Men are. Yeah. Men are.
I'm s- like majority of the complaints that men complain about is not working enough, not doing enough work.
Well,
You know, I
I
mean,
think
yeah,
that has to do.
yeah. At times, we will want to get away from our job for a while, right? After doing it for a while or some time of it, right? But on the same token, it's like once we stop working, it's like, bruh, I got nothing to do. I need something to do,
Mhm.
and of course, the first thing that come out of my mouth when we complain, I need more work. We could say sometimes we'll say I want more money, but in the same token, it's
Yeah.
like before that money come in, before that money come out of our mouth, we be like, we want more work. We that's we the first ones in line. So all majority of the people in line, looking for a job is usually men, and you know that.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I've seen them, especially in the unemployment. At least you know the one program that they set you up to get you a job, mostly men or mostly women that's going for that other that other nanny program.
Exactly. I was going to say male models make double times less than their female counterparts. So everybody talking about more money. I have to remind them, female models are much richer than male models. In fact, male models don't last very long. They don't stay in it very long. They stay in it, they do
Again,
it a couple of years,
I
and then they
wonder why.
not as long as not as long as true, not as long as women. I forgot about an actor that was I think Ashton Kutcher modeled for a couple of years, but he didn't
Hmm.
stay in it. He did for a while, but he didn't stay in it. There are a couple of others. I know that was I can't think of one. It was it was Tyrese. It wasn't Tyrese Gibson, but another black dude
Tay
that
Diggs.
every uh, uh, not Tate Diggs was another guy. Tyson Bedford, I think is what his
Oh,
name
I
is.
don't
I
know who
forgot.
that is.
Yeah, well, he was on every wall of every black woman's house. He was in there, and
Mm,
everybody wondered. Well, I'm trying to think. He did a couple of photo shoots with Naomi Campbell, and
mm.
people wondered what happened to him. Well, he said after 10 years, he got up and he left.
Yeah, I
He
think
got up
that's
the business. He left. He said he did it for
I
10 years.
that's the lifespan for a male model right there.
Yeah, but women maybe can go 10 or 20, but men
Hmm.
men go at least 5 to 10 years and then they stop. So that's very interesting. The ladies keep going. So this idea about equality, I remind them, dears, you models, you female models need to shut up because you make more money, and they do make more. The women make more money than the men, and the men don't stay long. They have to look.
I
They
think
every year they have to find a new it guy.
yeah.
They don't
No,
stay
I
long
think
in it.
what it is that most women are so greedy that they don't think they don't know how to win. These type of wins, I mean, they don't know how to win, or at least they don't know what a win is, or at least they don't know
Right.
what achievement is really. Like they think the achievement is like laying out all their things that they're supposed to be proud of. It's mostly like just be glad that you're still in and you still got it. Not what you managed to achieve. It's like, come on, like
Well,
making what you're saying, Leia. They're getting paid more money than the male models, right? And they're complaining about not being paid enough. I'm like,
right.
what is this? You're asking for free extra money on top of money, a lot of money that you own, in that $1 billion house that you live in that $1 billion tub that you bathe in.
Oh yeah, well that's what's going on now with Hollywood actresses. All these actresses complaining that well I should make as much money. Leonardo keep playing Leonardo DiCaprio more money than me. I should be making the big bucks just as much as Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm just using him as an example. It used to be back in the day, your paycheck was by how many seats you could get in the box office. That's what it used to be by. Your paycheck
Mhm.
went by how, how well your movies did. If your movies
Right.
did box office gold, you got a fat check. But if your movies did not do box office gold, the studio's not going to pay you that much. But now today, these
Mhm.
actors think that's sexist. They say they should be paid $1 billion, just like Tom Cruise gets paid $1 billion. Well, Tom Cruise is had a. I don't like that either because some of these actresses are not worth the money. They want a
Yeah,
free
exactly.
ride without doing the work. In my job, you every level you go up, you get paid higher. I tell people, boy, I
What
wish
was
I
it?
job, I could get paid as much as the people higher up. But each year you go up a level, and the more you go up, the higher the paycheck. But not these Hollywood actresses. They want to come in saying, "Well, if Tom Cruise makes that million, I want to make 5 million." But you,
No, that's
that's
not your startup. You're on
yeah.
probation. You're on probation.
Oh well, if
You
they
know what
don't believe
probation
in that,
is? You know what
they,
probation is? That's where you start. That's where you're starting off at right now, and then you work your way up. Merit, merit. Oh, they don't like to hear merit. They don't like to hear
no,
that. Well, I
mm-mm.
have merit. Do you? Do you? You either do or you don't. Be honest with yourself. Don't be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Do you
There's you.
have merit? Go
There's
ahead,
a lot
Leah.
of. I didn't mean that because well, I didn't want to interrupt you. If you're finished, because I agree. They don't know what that means. Wolf. They think it's their gender. No, I'm a woman. That's enough merit. You're just being. They would say you're just being sexist. That's what you're being because you won't pay me equally as much. Did they ever stop to think that maybe you can't act that good? Or maybe did you stop to think you don't sing that good? Or maybe the fact that a lot of people don't come to your movies. And I don't think an actress should be paid $1 billion if they can't get butts in the seats. That's what
Mhm.
it was back in the day. You were paid by how many people would come to see your films. And right now we don't have actresses like that. But they want the big money, but they're not doing the work.
Yeah,
It just
It's,
freaking Terrence Howard
it's,
was like that. If you remember, there was a big
yes.
article where he was whining that he should have gotten paid, but RDJ was getting paid, and it's like, bro,
how
like,
long have you been acting?
yeah, like, are you
My
gonna
first movie
deliver?
seeing you was on Big Mama's house.
Yeah, are you gonna deliver? It's like you were out from the first film. Like, had you stuck with it, subsequently, you know what, something would have come out of it. But
Hey,
Yeah,
if you were in the second film, you was going to get that extra buck.
he would have got that
Mhm.
extra bump in his pay. If he had stayed on
Yeah,
for the second one, he would have got his
yeah,
extra bump in his pay.
oh, hands down, and then he would have had a lot of leverage. And it's
Yeah.
like, and
Especially, well, I don't know if I could see Terrence Howard in Iron Man 3. That would have been a whole entirely different
well,
movie with
what would
Terrence
have
Howard.
had to happen with him is he would have had to, and he wouldn't, but he would have had to dedicate himself to more or less getting fit, staying in shape for subsequent
Right.
films.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if you wanted a War Machine film, guess what? You gotta pull off a Chris Evans on screen too when that shirt comes off.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
you
Especially
know,
Got
to
to get
wear that
that.
armor.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
way got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, freaking
So
the world would have been his oyster because instead of touting, Black Panther as the, first, MCU, black male lead. Guess who it would have been? Exactly. You would have had a War Machine
Yes,
trilogy. Like, it would have been insane. It would have been fantastic.
And
But
I
I,
think.
speaking of Black Panther, that whole rap about it being special because it had an all black cast. I didn't. Here's the thing: I wouldn't have cared if there was white folk somehow magically appearing in Wakanda. I would have saw it anyways because I was there to see Black Panther. I didn't.
right.
I didn't. I wasn't there to see Black Panther and his amazing friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
Now,
know what? Now that we're talking about body positivity in Black Panther, um, Chadwick had to eat a certain way because we didn't know at the time that he
He was
actually
sick.
he was
yeah.
sick. So he had to do a certain amount of exercise, and whether it's just normal daily routine or whatever, but he had to eat a certain way to more or less be able to manage his condition. So again,
Right.
taking ownership of where you are. So
Well, see, that's the good example. You have to look at it because he had a sick disease, but he
mhm,
still managed to find a way to keep himself in the best condition he could to play that part. How
yep,
many of us could say that? This is a man who was dying of cancer and he kept himself up the best way he could.
mhm,
You know, it eventually got him. But now, if he could do that, I thought to myself, now think of all those who don't have his condition
yeah,
and not try to pick yourself up. But
yeah,
we don't know what kind of pain or what he had to really do to get himself in the best conditions to
yeah,
make that picture. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and then you have these freaking, you have these Lizzos at the dinner table stuffing themselves with, sprinkled donuts and frosted flakes and wondering why they don't have a man. And it's like, big difference. It's like, there's a door, step outside, the
and,
world
and
is waiting for you. The world is waiting for you to make your starring role.
and it doesn't have to be a really big thing when it comes to, let's say, physical fitness. Like for,
Yeah.
well, it whatever. I always say with me, do what you like to. Everybody likes to do something. You
Yeah.
just need to do
Yeah.
more of it. If you
You need
don't
to
like
do
the
more of it.
gym, if you don't like the gym, go for a walk.
Yep.
Walking is good. It is very
Yep.
good. I
Mhm,
walk too. Now that the weather's warmer, I walk
Hmm.
also,
Yep.
along with my
mhm.
bike. If you
Yep.
don't like to walk, swim. There's many places
Yep.
where you can join and you can go and hit the pool.
Yep.
Lift weights if you want to.
Yep.
Anything that is physical movement. Or if maybe you say dance. I can't dance. I don't dance in my life. Don't care. Turn the
Yep.
music on in your house and do your own thing. You're not trying to win anything.
Yeah. You're
You're
not
trying to,
controlling.
yeah. So we have to also encourage people that, because some say, well, I can't hit the gym. That's okay. We'll go take a walk. Walking is good.
Yeah.
Walking, swimming, running. You got a treadmill, like I do. Pop my
Mhm.
music in. I got my
Yep.
pump jam music going.
Yep.
Or
Right.
if you're just checking your email, get on your treadmill or on your bike and check your
It's on your
email
phone.
while you're at home.
It's on your phone. It's on your tablet. You can
Yep.
get on
Yeah,
that treadmill and look at that stuff. I know
right.
you're gonna be bopping around trying to you know hit that right letter trying to write to your friend, but you better be on that treadmill. Ain't no excuses anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then
Agree.
just, yep, and just take it back to the superheroes. Trust me, if you join Marvel or DC, you most likely will have to hit that gym. That's going to be required. That director's not going to be
Oh,
happy
and
with you
by the
coming
way,
in there
now that you mentioned that,
with your stomach
f
out. Go ahead.
yeah, now that you mentioned that, f you, Robert Pattinson.
Mm-mm. I don't
Yeah,
have
No,
to hit the gym.
no, no,
I
no,
don't know
no.
why.
It says a present. I'm like, bruh, you getting healthy.
Yeah.
Did you hear the excuse? Did you hear the excuse why he wouldn't work out? Did you know why, or some of the reasons he gave?
Hmm.
Not all of them. I just
I
know
think
that
I think
one
I
line he
think it
said.
was, what was it? It was I think it was the James Dean line
Yeah,
that he,
Oh,
his
that,
talking
something
point.
something an old man once said, and he pulled out for convenience.
But
yeah.
here's my thing. Here's my thing. Okay, so the standard of what was considered healthy was different. Um, I mean, when Arnold started doing his films, I mean, you hadn't seen bodybuilders of his size do films. That was unheard of. He
Mm-hmm.
was actually, before he actually was quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was in another film where his voice was dubbed because his English was so bad. But all I can remember is he was on a chariot and it had white stallions and it was in the middle of New York. And I got to find that film. I really got to find that film. But
Mm-hmm.
our standard are of what we would consider to be physically attractive in appearance has changed as we've moved on and become more of a consumer type of society,
Yeah.
because now we, as a society, we also sell fitness, on YouTube. There's always one dude that'll pop up, you know
Mm-hmm.
could I eat this pizza or a salad? Oh, I won't eat both. That whole thing. Or same thing. If you don't want to take responsibility for your food intake, you can pay someone to put together a meal plan for you, like we were talking about at the very beginning. Or better yet, you can buy your meals pre-made at the store. I mean, if you have the money for it, there's nothing that says that you can't.
Sure.
So, but here's the thing, and just like I know Leia does, I have to do it too. Like if I'm going to eat a certain way, guess what? I got to check the label. So, um, it's, you have to know what you're taking in and what you're not. So for
Oh
me,
my goodness, so many times I heard, is it gluten free? Is it gluten free?
no,
I
no,
don't know. I work at a freaking movie theater. Do I
yeah,
even check the labels if it's gluten free? We
like
just
it
take
helps.
in what is shipped to us.
Let me put it to you this way: the movie theater sells you nachos, popcorn, hot dogs, and Jolly Ranchers. I'm sure none of that is gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
and you have your own Coca-Cola freestyle machine. So if you weren't happy with what they were selling you over the counter in terms of food, you could just buy processed sugar and stick it in a cup. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, we make it very easy to get overweight. We make it very easy. So, but
That's
yeah,
for
Well,
James Dean, men were thin. Men were a lot thinner. I mean, also the demographics have changed too. I mean, you know, uh, what, as far as, what the demographic was of the middle class versus poverty land, that was different. That was very different.
yeah.
Yeah.
But well, Robert, that is no excuse. That's not good. Just like you mentioned this on other people, and his attitude is not good either,
No, no, it's
because
not at all. It's
that
costly.
studio should have told him, get your butt in that gym and you better
Yeah.
work out, or you could kiss that contract goodbye. Nobody, get dark on him. Just like we do it. It goes both ways
his
for
inner
those that are
Edward Cullen
obedient.
just came back out, despite him hating, purportedly hating the character. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wow.
Because I'm sorry, everybody, I can't see Bruce Wayne, the body type of Bruce Wayne, as Robert Pattinson. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if that comes off for those offended. I'm very sorry, but no, Bruce Wayne is out fighting criminals. I'm sure Bruce Wayne would be in the gym. He's rich. He'll be in his own gym,
He would
taking
have
sure he's in the
to.
best shape. Yeah, he can't go out there half weak and kick butt. The
Yeah,
Joker
yeah.
and the Riddler and all them if he ain't got no muscles on there, they'll tear him apart.
If
So
he's in better shape, he'll heal faster.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Robert Patterson's
And when you really think
attitude
about it,
in
an
it.
out of shape person wouldn't even be able to know if somebody about ready to swing on them anyway. So
Well, your
like,
reaction time would be slowed. I mean,
yeah.
in order to do what I was doing, I mean, I had to have a certain level of fitness. I had to be able to take on at least one dude. I mean, yeah, 4-on-1's a little
Much.
it's a little much, or it's like, okay, you're expecting more than what a normal person can perform. I mean, unless you're like Arnold, but even Arnold, 4-on-1, I'm sure you'd have a little bit of a tougher time. But what we're getting at is like, these superheroes, they have to have a certain level of fitness because there's
Yeah.
recovery time involved, there's reaction time involved. um,
Look at the raid.
there's a certain level of alertness that you need to have. If you're going to be a superhero, I mean, you got to be alert because you don't know what
Right.
happens.
It's
So
just
Go ahead, Leia.
Oh no, I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead. I just want to say it's just like if just like you're an athlete training for your sporting event,
Yep.
it's the same thing. If an actor takes on those parts, they're going to have to train to fit the part. There's just no getting around that.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah.
just want to say. Yeah,
And
Trooper.
it's another way of, unloading stress. I mean, when Nick Fury approaches Captain America after he's been a capsicle for so long, what is Cap doing? He's taking some punches out on some bags. He's being athletic.
Mhm.
He's unloading his stress. It's a great way to actually get rid of your stress. So, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm gonna
Yeah,
work on getting a punching bag one of these days.
yeah,
yeah,
I
because
agree.
you got to unload somehow, whether it's, putting on your earbuds and, and freaking, going to, a Stella American Boy, or if you're, hey,
Mhm.
hey, I can go get my phone and I can show you what my playlist is as far as like songs go. So
Mhm.
it's whatever motivates. So that's what
Exactly.
being body positive is. Even though, like I said, the pink scalps have taken over that term. And like I said before, I mean, we're talking about ownership. We're talking about accountability and responsibility. All the stuff that you should be doing anyway. And I saw Brian say he prepares his own meals. That helps too, because then you do know what goes into it. It's good to know what goes into your food, like whether you're whether you're buying the materials or whether it's prepackaged. What goes
You know
into it.
what? Now that you're reading the comments, we might as well start doing that too,
Yeah.
since we're in the half-hour mark.
Yep.
All right, because I was waiting for the half-hour mark and I missed the window in a way. Brian Gilmore talking about the old times. He said there was definitely a time when people starved themselves just to look like the supermodels on TV. These days, it's the opposite. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I used to hear about anorexia nervosa all the time.
we didn't really get a chance to talk more about that too. Like the
Yeah.
fact that we had these they'd like to call it unrealistic beauty standards these days.
Well, thin was in. So I mean, if we're talking about, freaking, Bat Pattinson, I mean, you had supermodels that were like starving themselves,
Hmm.
you know, puking their food out. I mean, that without, if we're talking about the 80s, maybe even into the early 90s, I mean, yeah, you did have a few shows that addressed, stuff like that as far as eating disorders, as far as anorexia
Hmm.
and, and bulimia. You don't hear about it as much now.
I mean,
And
people weren't really that open about it at the time. Everybody
yeah,
was
yeah.
back then. Hollywood was hush hush.
And same with
Now it's
dudes.
like everybody wants to air out their dirty laundry, even when it's not necessary for them to air out their dirty laundry.
Yeah, even dudes were affected by anorexia and
Oh
bulimia.
yeah.
It was stuff we didn't talk about, right? Because that's just how it was. And yeah, you're right. We have swung to the other pendulum where now it's like, okay, well, love me, love me for the behemoth I am.
Land well.
Yeah. Granted, I have skin disorders from eating too much sugar,
Mm.
or and that's the other thing too. That's the other thing too that I hadn't dropped in there. You have to, especially if you have skin conditions or anything like that, you have to eat a certain way to not irritate it. So, I mean, that's another reason why I have to watch my sugar,
Hmm.
because
That
sugary foods, guess what? I get scratchy.
and I'm sorry, Tess Holiday is really promoting an unhealthy mindset
Mhm.
where you're trying to set women into this idea to love the disgusting in a way,
Mhm.
which really it brings up another host of things that women are trying to pride themselves into, not shaving.
Ooh.
Like well, you supposed to like well men supposed to have all that body hair. Yeah, because we're
Yeah,
men.
some. I mean, you can talk to some women; they'll tell you they hate it. Some women
Yeah,
will tell you they love it. It just depends on the woman they talk to. But
yeah.
both can agree that there's a certain level of body hair that they will and will not tolerate. I mean, if it's all over your back, I mean, I have yet to meet a woman who says, "Ooh, I love the back hair." Like,
Hmm.
I don't, I don't,
Hmm.
I don't, I don't suffer from any of
Or the
that.
shoulders.
If anything, like I tend to be pretty hairless about stuff like that. But
Right. And I'm a
it's like,
werewolf, but I don't
yeah,
have a hairy back.
yeah, yeah. But I have yet to meet a woman who's like, I don't like you because you don't got hair on your back. I've never come across that. I've never come across
or
that.
like or like you should like women who keeps their leg hair. I'm like, yeah. I mean,
um,
look. I
okay.
want to look. If you a butterhead, then you are not the
Mm-mm.
exception. I'm sorry.
I mean, you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to, I'm not supposed to cringe, when Trooper and Captain Phasma are watching Netflix and they're playing footsie and Captain Phasma's leg hair just goes scratchy scratch. It's like,
Mm, mm, mm.
but I
Shoot,
digress. I
I will
digress.
admit that there was a lot of Mexican women, young Mexican girls when I
Yeah.
was younger that had arm hair, you know,
Yeah.
and they were
But that's a cultural thing too. It's a cultural thing.
yes. I'm
But
not
we can
done.
all
I'm not
agree.
done yet. I'm not
Yeah.
done yet.
Yeah.
I found that kind of appealing, you know.
Yeah. But
I didn't see nothing wrong with that. I wasn't even disgusted by it, you know.
we can all agree that even in, as far as it being a cultural thing, there's a certain line with women across the board that there's
Mm,
certain things that are considered very unattractive for a woman to do, like say um having not taking care of their upper lip hair, or not taking care of, say, if they have hair growth on, that sort of resembles what would be almost like a male beard line. I mean, that's a hormonal thing. I mean, that's
mhm,
stuff that can medically be addressed. Or let's say you have a woman who just doesn't groom, parts of her body that are, you know, culturally identified with being, something feminine. You want to look feminine, right? So
mhm,
so there's always that expectation of, oh, you know what, now that I went ahead and finished taking my bath, maybe I should go ahead, now that my skin is moist, let me get rid of that little patch of hair or whatever. It's the same with dudes. I hate to kind of brush your bubble, ladies. It's the same with dudes. Like,
mhm,
there's certain things that you ladies will poke at that we need to take care of, so we do, because it's expected. It's like, I'm not going to run around, rampant, having hair in unwanted places. So
right.
it's one of those things. It's all part of feeling positive and having ownership over your body, because at the end of the day, it's the one thing you can control. So
I told my wife, you know, she always wants me to shave it completely off, right? I was like, if I shave it if I shave it off, I'm gonna have a baby face. Like like
yeah.
like did you not forget that you're still an older woman and I'm a younger guy?
Mhm.
And you're the one who keeps worrying about the age difference thing. Like, you know that if I keep my beard, it makes me look. That I mean, you pretty much prove your point why you don't like. You say it makes me look older, right?
Mhm.
That's the point. That I try to tell her, that is the point why I keep the beard, because
Yeah.
I didn't say it to her, but like I said it's in my mind. But in my mind, I'm like, the whole point for me to look older is because they don't mistaken me as your son rather than your husband. You know what
Is
I'm
that your
saying?
yes?
Because that I will tell you. I will tell you. Believe you and me. I will
uh,
tell you that has happened
oh
once,
wow.
mind you,
Oh wow.
once. And she's like, oh, that's like you have a handsome looking son. Oh, she happens to be my
It,
wife. Thank you very
it
much.
would have been like, oh no, I have an Oedipus complex.
Yep. I'm like, so
That's
I
funny.
keep,
That's funny.
I shave it, but I shave it to a goatee because
No,
Luke
I don't see why
Cage
not.
and
No.
Alonzo from
Yeah.
Training Day. But
Yeah.
like I said, I keep for appearance purposes, I keep it because it makes me look older.
Yeah.
And it's twofold there too. One is because of the appearance, but two, I pride myself into embracing my age.
Right.
I'm not getting any younger. So as I'm getting older and I see white hair in my beard, or at least white hair anywhere else, probably due to stress at times, maybe.
Mhm.
But if it's coming genetically, where it's like, it's giving you a sign that you're getting old, well, I'm gonna embrace it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna color it. unless I need that job, and you know,
Yeah.
the judgment call is dictates that I color it so I can make myself look younger. But like at the end
Hmm.
of the day, it's like I'm gonna embrace my age because I'm
Hmm.
proud of the years I lived so far.
Yeah.
Like I used to be so head up my own ass about not living a fulfilling life, but now I'm actually going around, even if it doesn't, even if it may not amount to anything in the long run. It's like,
Hmm.
damn it, I'm gonna be proud of the fact that I did it. You
I
know.
think what we have to do as individuals, when it comes to these, as far as these pink scalps, who are peddling, be unhealthy, they'll like you anyway. I think we need to hold them to a higher standard when it comes to body positivity. It's like, okay, well, you say body positivity, so what are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to attract me? What are you doing to stand out from other women, to show me that you're essentially the woman I should be bearing children with? They short circuit because there's no answer to that. The answer is, I guess I got to get healthy. So that's it's one of these things where women can be very catty to other women when it comes to
Hmm.
appearance, because if you're confident, doesn't matter what your body type is. If you're automatically confident and you carry yourself with an authority that you yourself should be more than sufficient to be able to solve whatever comes your way. That's almost deemed to be a threat to other women. I don't see how that could be a threat. If anything, it's like that's an asset. That's a potential friend right there. You associate with the people that you want to be most like, not unlike. So that stuff rubs off on you. Then suddenly you're confident as well. You start doing similar things as far as watching your hair, doing your appearance, um, carrying yourself in such a way that you become attractive, because it's in I've sent you these videos on me women,
Hmm.
or these ham beasts, and the moment they open their mouth, you're like, oh, forget this, I can't handle this.
Yeah, I
But
can't
it's
get.
like,
I told you, like, dang it, 3 minutes in, I can't. I'm like, I gotta stop this.
I need a man who can rise to my level, and I know
What
how to
level?
cook.
What
I know how
level?
to cook, and it's like that.
What
That
level?
everybody should know how to cook. like you should like what you eat, and and when you eat what you like, it should be within healthy portions. No one's saying you can't have candy, no one's saying you can't have sugar.
Right.
What we're saying is take ownership over that, because now that you know that we live in a country where, as Americans, we consume the most sugar, we consume the most proteins, we consume excess calories, that tells you that as an individual you got to take responsibility, because you can't be like every other dude who lives on freaking fast food 3 servings a day. Like I knew dudes who literally did that. They'd eat at home, and even my brother was guilty of it too. It's
Hmm.
like fast food, eat at home, and then fast food again. It's like, dude, the only meal that you're actually preparing is at noon, because you don't have enough money to have 3 fast food meals a day. It's like, bro, it's like you realize all those chemicals are not good for you.
Mm-mm.
Like, they're just not. So when we talk about body positivity, we're also talking about, you know, life expectancy, quality of
Yeah.
life. Quality of life is very important. And we're not saying, oh, well, if you eat a certain way, you're going to live longer. No, if you eat a certain way, you're going to feel better about what you eat. So,
Hmm.
and sometimes you do need a little extra help. Sometimes you do have to, have someone else, come in and kind of give you advice as to what's the best step to take now that you're ready to take the journey to feel really good about where you're at. What's the next step? Sometimes you do need a little help, because guess what? We, as individuals, we don't always have the answers. Superheroes
No.
don't always have the answers. I
No.
mean, it's, as an individual, you should you should enjoy the journey that it takes to get to where you want to be. I mean,
Hmm. But
when
the
we talk
saying
about,
is the destination. Destination is not important. It's the journey.
well, as a society too, as Americans, we tend to be very work oriented. And I think we talked about that earlier,
Mm,
like either in this stream or another stream where, yeah, because, we work more than what the European work week is. But suffice it to say, because we work so much, we also don't enjoy ourselves as much. So we tend to say, well, when I get to this spot right here, I'll let myself enjoy my life.
mm,
Once I move to say once I move to Idaho, once I get to Idaho, I'll enjoy my life. Once I get promoted to supervisor, I'll be able to enjoy my life more. Or one once I'm done, with my degree, I'll be a little bit more lenient with myself. Or once I get all hard bodied, I'll enjoy my life a lot more. No, you got to enjoy the whole process, because if you're literally just pushing the bar further back as to when you'll enjoy yourself, guess what? You're not going to enjoy yourself at all. And yeah, you're going to make yourself miserable, and you are more apt to freaking make bad choices, bad food
mm,
choices too.
mm.
Yeah.
Samuel Oleke said, "Running is the most natural form of exercise, not the most thrilling, but simple, cheap, which is mainly why it's my thing. Swimming and biking were for a good while a good thing, but this saves time."
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, for as easy as you know taking that step outside the door and going for a run, I mean, once you really get into it, you realize there's a lot that goes into it. It's You have to get the proper shoe. You have to figure out, do you over or under pronate? Do you need a cross training shoe, or do you need more of a running shoe for how your foot makes contact with that concrete? I can tell you that when I was training for, in training for a marathon, um, I learned a lot about my running and the fact that I tend to over and under pronate. So yeah, I do need more of a cross training shoe. Or as far as weight training, I need a stability shoe, because guess what? I need to work on my balance, because that just happens to be me where that's always been my problem, is that I always have to focus on balance more than strength, because for me anyway, I have balance issues. So
Mm. And I'm clumsy, so there's
yeah,
also a balance issue there too.
yeah. So yeah.
Especially now that my body has begun to develop more muscle definition.
Hmm.
I've been bumping into things
Oh
that,
yeah.
that I normally wouldn't bump,
Oh yeah.
or maybe or maybe another factor will be I probably have sometimes poor coordination issues too.
That too. So
Uh,
it could be inner ear. It could be, and see, that's the thing. Taking ownership over your body means you have to look into stuff. Is it an inner ear issue? Is it maybe one leg is like a few centimeters longer than the other? It's stuff that you end up finding out through like trial and error. So
right. Matt Nui says it's good to be comfortable in your own skin, but don't ignore when you have a problem.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Agree. Yes, that's what I was saying at the beginning, that yes, but don't ignore that you see some issues pertaining to your health.
yeah,
No, ever don't ignore that.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So I
I'll
agree
even
wholeheartedly.
I'll bring up the fact that one time I had on my first time getting into exercising, I had tripped heavily over an upplaced pavement.
Hmm.
I went right into it and it hurt, right?
Oh yeah, it does. I
Like
get that.
I still walked the rest of the way finally,
Hmm.
but like one time when I was tight on my sock, it was
Hmm.
blue.
Oop.
And I was almost kind of like near panicking
Yep.
because it was on the same toe where I had originally had ingrown toenail.
Hmm.
Yep, it was the when I had ingrown toenail. It was the right toe,
Hmm.
and I thought that was it. Sorry, I'm telling the story. I'm telling the story wrong. It got blue after a week, and
Mhm.
I checked, and I looked at it because it was still hurting, right? And I originally thought it was going gangrenous again. I was like, I gotta see a foot doctor soon. So, so he took a look. Um, he peeled some of the skin off, and he told me it was fine. And lo and behold, it was fine. He actually did things differently than the last foot doctor that operated on my ingrown toenail,
Mhm.
which I never would have thought that my feet were that sensitive until I got the shot in my toe.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. So, back when this was a little further back, it involves a little bit of EMS. Okay, so back in EMS, you have to
Mm,
wear a certain type of boot. Um, Only because it helps you in the long run to have something steel toed. Because you could, you could syringe could drop, and guess what? It might make contact with your foot, or at the same time, you're going to be in situations where you got to move really quickly. You don't really, you don't have the time to literally look at every step you're taking. But okay, so my problem was, and I've said before that I tend to over and under pronate. Um, I ended up getting a type of boot that really wasn't for my foot. So my foot was literally in there kind of moving around all the time. And it just became a thing. And I managed to wear the boot to where it was comfortable. But guess what? The boot was still not the appropriate type of boot for my foot. So I ended up pretty much putting a tear into the heel of my foot. So yeah, we know it as plantar fasciitis.
mm.
But guess what? It hurts when you get that steroid shot right in that ligament. When, just like when you have to take a shot to the toe, I had to take a shot to the heel. And this needle was not small, this thing was huge.
Mm.
And I will tell you, I am more comfortable with freaking taking an IV needle anywhere else than taking a needle into the heel. It was painful. And I had to do several treatments, and I was prescribed,
Good thing they hit the
Sure.
Achilles.
Yeah, like, so in what it is, it's like, especially if you're not careful with, whether it be work boots, whether it be running shoe, if you get the wrong type of shoe, your foot is going to try to compensate for when it touches the ground. So you can easily injure your foot. So, but I mean, this is all stuff that we discover in trial and error. So,
Right.
yep.
I know he says
Mm.
SJWs think plus size and obese are the same thing. There's a difference between being naturally bigger and being obese.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered that. Yeah, because
Yep.
I mean, think about it. They're selling it as a blanket thing. They're not making the distinction of, okay, so this runs in my family. Just like high blood sugar runs in my family, or um, you know, the thing about plus size. Okay, in terms of these retailers really do prey on that. They really do.
Hmm.
In terms of, and I noticed this with
They
men's
have plus
pants.
size mannequins too now. Have
Oh,
you?
well, yeah, yeah. Now, no, my whole, yeah, we can have maternity mannequins.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
that's fine, cool, whatever. Do your thing. But I've noticed, especially with some brands, especially in some retailers, when it comes to, say, like men's pants, they might call it a size 38, but you literally take the measuring tape, and that thing is not a size 38. It's 42 inches. So I mean, brands are notorious for um, resizing what they consider a 38 and a men's 36. So like right now, a men's 36, but it literally means that my waist is about maybe 38, 37. I really want to get down to about a 35, because
Mm.
I've always been a size 34. I think at my skinniest, when I was doing my thing and I was just hitting the weights like crazy, I was a size 32. But I mean, like my body composition was different too. So, and that's what people tend to forget. Like, if you're putting the effort into doing, you know, any type of weight loss, or just to change the sugar levels in your body. Like your body's going to change along with it. So, if you're reducing your sugar intake, whether it's by lowering your carbs or lowering your sugars, guess what? And it's the same thing. You watch your salt, your body's going to start expelling all that water, and suddenly you're going to feel really good about being in a different pant size. And that's what we're talking about. You enjoy those little moments along the journey. You're changing pant size, or you're no longer having to go to a certain section of the store. You have more selections. But the fact that we have stores, particularly what we call big and tall stores for men. I get the height thing, because height tends to run in my family too. I get that, where clothes just don't fit because you're just too tall. I happen to be 5'11", so I got the short end of the stick. I mean, as a guy, I'm good on the height end. I'm perfect. I'm perfect boyfriend height, but as far as my family members, I tend to be pretty short. So, but yeah, we do the same thing to women. We categorize them.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to bait them into, oh yeah, you'll love this, take this, it's great, blah blah blah, it'll make you look fantastic. And it's
Sales
like,
pitch.
yeah, because we're consumers. They don't want as an individual, they want your wallet.
Watch they live, guys. For context, there are lots of subliminal context there. Consume, procreate.
Well, even since I'm the plus size woman on the panel, even when you are shopping, like I said, your body type or shape does come into account when you are shopping, because if you are, let's just face it, if you carry your weight more on the top than you do the bottom, you might look your legs might look nice in a shorter skirt, or maybe or something like that, or looser. But your tops need to probably be loosened out, because you can't wear something too tight, or your little girls are going to pop out all over the place, or bananas, whatever you want to call it, and you don't want that. Or you're the opposite, like me, where you're a pair, you're more wider in the hip area and in the leg area, so you don't want those jeans too tight, or because then they're going to not fit. So all that goes into play. So sometimes it's not one size always fits all. Some of the stores may tell you that, but even in the full figured section, I still have to section off what is appropriate for my shape, or it won't be flattering looking. It'll be very unflattering, and tight jeans are not comfortable. So you want the best that fits that as well. Yeah, take that into consideration.
And they try to sell you into getting a smaller size because you want that tight look, and it's like, no.
No, I don't.
It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
Far too many stretch marks to count, man. Stop selling me tight.
Well, dude, like I have broad shoulders and I have a broad chest, so I mean, as far as me, I always need like a bigger shirt. Or you know what? For me, I figured out my measurements in terms of t-shirts. So
I go medium, so I like it tight.
Well, here's the thing. Like, everyone cuts a shirt very differently. Like, to me, regardless of size, whether it's medium or a large, it has to be at least, as far as width between armpit, it has to be no more than 22 inches. 21 and a half and 22 inches is usually where it looks great on me. As far as length, I don't care about length. It's the fact that I don't have that fabric too tight to the point where it's like, now I look like I'm trying to pull a Chris Evans when I could do with a few more pull-ups. So
Brian Gilmartin says, what is it with people thinking that a perpetual scowl is attractive? I see that and think this person eats skulls for breakfast. He says the desire for...
Go ahead, Commander. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
He also says the desire for the pink hairs not to have competition is like the evil queen trying to kill Snow White with poison apple. Yeah, I like to attribute it as wicked queen syndrome.
Yeah.
Or at least wicked stepmother syndrome. Like you don't want the child outshining you. It's been a tale oldest time.
Yep.
Pun intended. But yeah, like women has always been competing with each other. Like it's basically the hyena mentality.
It is. It really is.
It's really like we like to attribute them like cats and
It's like you might look your best and you're wearing your favorite, you just bought your new heels that have that open toe, or do like a semi peep toe, and you're feeling great. You got the retro look going, and you feel like you just stepped out of an Austin Powers film. And there's always that one friend. Oh, that looks nice. Like, oh, what do you mean? You always have the one. It's like,
That's nice.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
alright.
yeah, because I mean, it makes them feel better about themselves by putting you down, and it's I tend to think
Yes.
so. Yeah,
Yes. I
Speaking
didn't
of
mean to interrupt
feeling
you
better
for
about
that.
themselves, Manu has an interesting comment too. He says, "This is going back to my statement about the SJW is one of the people that quote unquote represent them to become them." So he says, "Sounds more like they're their own heroes, which sounds really narcissistic." Of course.
well, yeah. I mean, it comes down to personal choices. If we don't have to have accountability in the comic book world, then why should I have accountability in the real world? I am who I am because of all of what took to get me here. So you should
Hmm.
like, all this excess that comes with everything. And yeah, to an extent, yeah, that's true. But you can always change what you can. And if you like where you are, there's nothing that says that the person that you come across or who's attracted to you, you know, will have the same consensus, because it's how you carry yourself. You're confident, you're happy in terms of you've accepted ownership over your existence. If we're talking about narcissistic heroes, they don't accept their circumstances. It's always someone else's fault.
Hmm.
Right.
It's yeah, it's math is racist. It's fitness is racist. Femininity is sexist. It's like, okay, so what about the women who love being women? You mean to tell me they can't enjoy themselves? So, hey, Matt. So
It's too tough.
I can imagine him. I can imagine hearing his voice when he
oh
says
my gosh, dude, Matt, I wish, man, I wish.
I was going back to what Trooper was saying. I know women that blame playing with Barbie for their bad image, and they do. They said, "Well, it's the Barbie doll that made me feel bad about myself."
Mhm.
And I see this because I collect dolls, and I noticed lately the dolls are starting to. I was talking to another collector, and we're starting to see the dolls are starting to look ugly this year. So
Right?
why are the dolls ugly? They're
hmm
looking ugly, and it's because, well, it tells us we want to encourage body positivity and feel good about them. So there we go back to that again. So when girls play with dolls, their self-esteem won't feel low. And I said, if you are a woman and you're basing your self-esteem on a toy that is not living or breathing, you have the issue, not the toy.
Hmm.
And that's going back to what you're saying. They want to put the blame on something else,
Yeah.
or like you said, it's sexist. But what about us that like and embrace our femininity? Just like
Yeah.
Brian Martin was saying in his comment, why is smiling is no, don't smile. It's sexist. Look like you're about to eat a whole cow alive. It's,
Look.
I'm saying that. If you
somebody
notice
Yeah.
that,
said that.
huh? Yeah,
Somebody
Brian
said
Gill.
that.
No, but I was quoting with Brian Gill. Brian Martin had a quote up just a few minutes ago where he talked about what is the deal with women not smiling. Brian, if I'm quoting you right, I hope I'm saying it right.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
And I've noticed that a lot lately. The message, it is true, is the women have said, don't smile. Smiling is sexist or weak, or it's too pleasing to men to smile. Even
Mhm.
now, when you look at pictures of, I know they posted the new images of the new He-Man show for Netflix, and I'm scared of it. But they got the women. I saw. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I saw that, and I said I'm going to stick with old school He-Man because they don't mess those characters up on there, and
Yeah.
they
What?
have the
Well, I
females
sent
if they
the
look like that.
I had a picture of it on private chat.
Yeah. Yeah. The
I saw
picture of
it.
the non-binary Tila.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I didn't even know. I
I'm
said,
gonna share.
"Oh,
I'm gonna screen.
forget
I'm
this."
gonna do screen share real quick
Well, back in the green room, guys,
so that people can.
for all the peeps that are hanging out with us today, like, okay, so um Wolf went ahead and posted a link, and he's probably going to go ahead and do it now, but
Hmm.
there
Yes,
it
I
is.
hear.
And I had made the comparison. I had made the comparison of take the middle out. Take Megara Tila out of there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look at her Funimation 1980s look versus the it's ma'am look. Okay.
Yeah.
like like one thing you notice, like her eyebrow line has changed. Like her lips are not as full. They're more,
That's not
they're
a
thin,
female
like men's
brow.
lips. Yeah. You'll notice that they took away the roundness of her cheekbones, and they slimmed them down more to what a young man's face looks like. They've gone ahead and they've taken away the heart-shaped face and made her more triangular. The neckline is still there, um, but you'll notice now. Now I'll talk about the second photo. Between all three photos, you'll notice that also the breast line has changed. Like, the only reason that you even know that 2021 Tila might be a chick is because the breastplate gives the appearance of maybe it has breasts. But
It.
yeah, like, exactly. It's we're looking at the deltoids and we're looking at the triceps. Those are man arms. Like, but if you look at Tila from 1980s, there's a roundness to her drawing.
Men are symmetrical. Women are circular.
They took away the
Remember that
lovely
for you
they
male
took away the
artists out
lovely widow's peak, and they gave her almost dude anime hair.
there. Hmm.
Oh
So
yeah, that nine berry look.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think I think this boils my blood because this is just
That was the punk
stupid.
rock hair. Now nobody can wear it without being mistaken for an SJW anymore.
Right.
But that's but that's the way they make
Punk
the
rock
women now.
punk rock is
Hmm.
dead now.
Mm.
I was gonna say, Trooper, the way you describe it, they basically gave her a penis. I'm
Yeah,
Mm.
sorry, but yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they basically, yeah.
They took all her feminine qualities, and now they're saying to little girls, don't be don't be a girl, be more like a boy. It's like we're literally programming these poor children into transgenderism. And
I
yeah,
agree with you. I see it now, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna let you back there. I see it now. Now they encourage girls, and I don't mean to be like this, but they encourage them go into sports. Don't
mhm,
take dance class or ballet or sports.
yeah,
They want them to play sports that the men play. Be
yeah,
more athletic
yeah,
instead of make their choice on their own, and their bodies are becoming more athletic. So
yeah,
you said it. Disturbing trend.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
and that's the thing. I mean, me growing up, like, I knew girls who went to dance and ballet class. You know, my mom actually used to have a friend, uh, and her friend was from the Dominican Republic. So, like, her daughters were like very exotic looking, and they were tall too because that height ran in their family or whatever. But
I'm
like,
sorry. Let me elaborate. Let me add more to that Tila appearance real quick.
mhm,
And this ties into where our topic is today. They talk about body positivity. How is it body positive to make a girl, or in this case, a woman, look like a dude? That's not body positive. That's body dictatorship right there. You're
yeah,
dictating a woman's appearance. That sounds sexist to me.
yeah,
Sounds a bit
Me
sexist to
too.
me right there. If you want if you try and dictate the shapeness of a woman,
mhm,
and to making her look less like a woman, that's very sexist. Is that for you to really think that you have to make a woman look less feminine to really make her look in your mind, make her look appealing to a
yeah,
wider audience,
mhm,
whereas see, we never had that problem back in the days. We was always self assured. A man was a man, and a woman was a woman. A girl
mhm.
was a girl. A boy was a boy, and a dog was a fucking dog. Excuse me. Okay,
And dogs are puppies that grow up wild and they
and the
don't believe
only way,
when you tell
and
them
the
to.
only way you knew a dog was a boy or a girl if you lift their damn leg up.
Mm-mm.
But the dog stayed a dog. You don't go around trying to draw a dog looking like a cat.
Well, now you lift their leg and it's like, okay, there's boy penis and girl penis. So
Point still stand when
it's
you
gotten
draw.
crazy. It's gotten crazy.
I'm just
It's
saying,
out of
point still
control.
stand. When
Mhm.
you draw a dog, you don't think a cat. You think drawing a dog. And
Yeah,
even when you
yeah,
think about drawing a dog, you don't make him look like a cat. You
yeah,
don't see no dog with slightly cat features. You don't make a cat like that. Making a cat look like if you're gonna respect
Hmm.
animals, you need to have that same respect for humans.
yeah.
Respect the human anatomy. The woman is supposed to have, as Trooper put it, full lips, round
Hmm.
cheeks,
Hmm.
round features. The
Hmm.
man is supposed to have the angular features. That is how nature. If you respect nature, that's how nature built man and woman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you
I
want to
agree.
if look, I'm not here to disrespect any religion. If you, but what I'm saying, if you taking the taking religion out of the equation, and I know a lot of people will want to disagree with me. They want to keep the religion in the equation. Yes, let's. I'm gonna get to that though. But taking the religion out of the equation and put in the nature aspect, nature ordained through biology for the woman to look like a woman and function like a woman, the same
Yeah.
thing as a man. And no, it's not about sticking his penis in the woman. maybe a little Maybe a little bit that comes later though, when you want to spread the offspring, of course. But that's the
Mm.
purpose of the two halves, to, like, if you really think about the cells, right? Think of them
Mhm.
as living, breathing, thinking cells conjoining together to make a new cell.
Mhm.
Duh, right? Duh. They don't. They 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 faux intellectuals is what I'm saying. But other than that, like this betrays everything I was taught in art class. How to draw men and women, or at least what was gaining and learning from when I studied the anatomy aspects of man and woman. That's why I
Mhm.
said. That's why I say the line: men men are symmetrical and angular. Women are more rounder and circular. And for those who come to me, I do tend to give free lessons free of charge because I want to see people improve. I want to see people improve. You know,
Mhm.
and and it's no cost. It's just like like, bruh, if you go out there and you be better than me, then go out there and be better than me. So long
Mhm.
as you improve, so long as you show me you improved. But I always tell them, men are angular and symmetrical. Women are
Mhm.
more rounder and circular. Always
Right.
take that with you when it comes to drawing people, because they're not the same design. You don't design a woman with angular and symmetrical features. That's not how that's not how that works. That is the rules right there. You gotta follow that. Same thing with the men. You don't draw them with rounder and circular features.
Mhm.
You may use circles for the spears that you use for the joints, the shoulders, but at the end of the day, body frame, man is symmetrical and sorry, not circular, angular.
Mhm.
Same thing with the women. Same thing. No. On the same token, circular and rounder. So
Mhm.
yeah, that hit a chord. If you guys haven't noticed, that hit a chord. Rant over.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
Well,
Oh,
it,
sorry. I was going to get to Melissa's comment. This is one thing I want to address real quick. And she
yes,
said,
please.
"Sorry, Leia plus size."
No, go right ahead.
Now she meant to say appearances, and I helped her out there in the bottom, but she
Mhm.
says appearances are not everything. It's what's on the inside that counts. See, here's the thing about that line. That used to be the truth back in the '90s. Used to be. It has now ceased to be that kind of saying. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is what they were trying. What who was that playing whatever in the background?
That's not me.
Hmm?
I'm here.
But
Oh well.
I'm here. The fourth party that wasn't even invited.
Oh, sorry. I'll turn down my radio. I had a little music going.
no, you can. I had some for a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I was saying it was distracting because it got louder.
So maybe as I walk close to it, because I'm in
Yeah.
my kitchen. So maybe when I walk
Right. Right.
close
Right.
to it, it's in the
But
window. But go ahead.
look, Melissa, you're not. Let's just say this: you're not wrong. But on the same token, your appearance will have to matter depending on where you go, or at least your appearance will have to count if you want to carry yourself positively. So, in a way, it's not everything, but it's something that you have to maintain to keep your energy going, to keep your confidence going, and everything. And you don't necessarily have to maintain your appearance to keep friends. Friends come and go. But at the end of the day, what you worked hard on, you work on it to maintain appearance wise.
Mhm.
So yeah. Now,
Well, and here's the thing, like, 2021,
almost done.
we've gone
Almost
from
done.
content to what
Almost
is on
done,
the
Trooper.
outside.
Almost done.
Yeah. So,
I'm getting there. Almost done. Sorry. I'm almost
yeah.
done.
Girl penis.
Now, what's on the inside? Now, once on the inside, yeah, you said that does count.
Mm,
On that notion, you have to make sure the person inside you is still it has to change at some point. Yes,
mm,
for life through life experiences, right? Through experiences that you go through in life, basically, not lived in spirits, not lived experience, life
mm,
experience. So of course, the spirit within you do change, and yes, the insight, yes, that counts because that's where the personality will flow through on the appearance. Your appearance, basically, if you're well groomed, well trimmed, well shapely, that means inside you are a person that takes good care of yourself. That also takes responsibility of yourself, especially if you're like I was saying earlier, fix your posture. If your posture is good, if people see you have a good posture about you. You have your head held up high. That means deep down inside you feel really good about yourself. So yeah, there's some truth into what you're saying, but you have to take into account that yes, appearance is something to work on.
mm.
So don't let them tell you that I, I'm hesitant to call it a lie because it's a white
Well,
lie. Go
here's the
ahead,
thing.
Leia.
Melissa has a point, and Wolf, you have a good point too, because yes, looks on everything, but that doesn't give you the excuse to look like the homeless bag lady that took a bath in the alley.
Yeah,
You still want to
yeah.
look, and I'm
Simplify
saying,
it because I overly explained. Go ahead, Leia.
yeah, but like, yeah,
That's what I was
Melissa,
trying to
you.
say. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, Melissa, I do agree with that. You want to look the best for you. You don't want to give this. Well, you're right. Looks don't like anything. I'm gonna go outside. I'm not gonna shave my armpits or my. I'm gonna let my unibrow grow. I'm gonna dress like the homeless bag lady that rolled around in the garbage and took a bath. No makeup. Didn't wash my hair. No makeup. Yes, some people do need to put some makeup on. I don't care what anybody says. Some of you don't. Nobody want to see all your pimples and redness and acne scars. So that's what we mean. You don't want to go to that extreme. So yes, looks no matter, but you want to look. The Wolf is right. You want to present yourself the best way you can. You want that outside, because what you are
The
on the
saying
inside
goes,
reflects
"Put
on the
your best self
outside.
forward."
Right. So even if you feel like
Absolutely, yeah.
looks don't matter on the inside, it's gonna show on the outside. And then you're sitting there wondering why ain't nobody want to talk to me, or how come I get a date? Well, you're not gonna get a date if you look like the homeless bag lady rolling around in the alley. You're not gonna attract anybody near you if you're like that. Nobody's gonna want to be around you when you're like that.
Yeah.
So you gotta look best for you. No matter what it is. So Melissa is right, but I understand where Wolf is coming from too, and that's the way I've always decided to carry myself. That was even the message that was taught me in modeling school. With the woman who ran it was a former plus size model, and she was a plus size model in the 70s and the 80s at a time when it wasn't a big thing. But she said in Europe it was a big thing because she spent a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time in Europe. But she did a lot of time in Europe, and she said these are tools for you to carry in your everyday life, and I've carried that
Mhm.
ever since. Even if I'm going to the market, I do not dress like I just slept in the alley. And you're not in high heels and in a gown, but you want to look decent, neat, and put together, no matter what you're doing. And that's how I always carry myself. That's how I always say it. But they now these big hairs feel like they supposed to look like I told it the homeless woman that slept in garbage or slept in the
Mhm.
alley, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing too much of that. That's not what that means.
Matt Nui says yes. They gave her that stupid hairstyle they give every other female character. I'm s- frankly, I am so sick and tired of that hairstyle at this
I am
point.
too.
It was fine in 2010 when they did the side buzz hairstyle. You know, it was cute. There was a lot of people that did make that hairstyle look good, like Rosario Dawson when she was in uh Daredevil, or Natalie Dormer when she was doing
The Hunger Games.
yeah, but I forgot which one.
Yeah, me
Not
too. I knew
before
she was in
Mockingjay.
it.
It was I think it probably was Mockingjay. Because she didn't show up in yeah, she showed up in Mockingjay Part 1. She didn't
Mhm.
show up in Catching Fire yet. Well, yeah, she didn't show up in Catching Fire at all. But yeah, she pulled that off really good too. I liked her in that hairstyle. But like after a while, it's like they started adding more, like adding less to it, adding less to it. I'm like, oh my god,
Mhm.
stop, just stop. I'm okay if you're a punk rocker, but you ain't no punk rocker. You're not. Stop. Matt Newey
I
also
can see.
said. Sorry, Manu also adds, she looks almost as buff as He-Man.
Yeah.
They're trying to make her. Apparently, they're trying to make her the next He-Man. Like from what I heard from the script, or from the
Well,
testimony from
she
Kevin
doesn't have
Smith.
to be as buff as He-Man. She's a Mary Sue, remember?
Yeah,
So,
they're saying that they're trying to transfer the powers over to her. Apparently,
Yeah. The
but
title
you
is
have the
here's
power.
my thing about pretty on the inside. Well, if you're pretty on the inside, who's going to see it? Probably
Mm,
just you. My,
yeah.
my whole my whole thing is this. We can hide behind axioms like that. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't use that as a crutch. You can't
hmm
have this Galatea syndrome of, oh, I'm a beautiful sculpture. I'm a beautiful sculpture. At one point you have to take responsibility and be your own Pygmalion, and you have to be your own sculpture or sculptor, if you will. So you
hmm
do have to, if you're that, eponymous statue trapped in marble, you have to chip and chisel away to bring about that beauty that you already inherently say you have to everyone so that they can see it as well. Whether that's how you carry yourself, how much exercise, or how well or not well you eat, or books that you read. It's all pieces of the same puzzle. Do what books do you read? What are your pastimes? What are your hobbies? It's like what males and females are always attracted to what makes your mind tick. So, I mean, if you tell me, hey, it's on the inside that's what counts, then there should be a pretty dang good inside when I ask you questions. You're like, oh yeah, do I remember that's from this, or you reference something, and I think to myself, wow, you know more about stuff than I know about that stuff. So that's kind of cool. It's like I want to get to know more. So yeah, you have to kind of balance it between the sculpture and the sculptor, if you will, between the creation and the artist. You have to be both, a little bit of each. So
Good point. Right.
yeah.
It's ma'am. It is
Bam!
ma'am.
And
Bam!
I was going back to what the classic He-Man is. I'm sick of that. Is that hairstyle supposed to be the the um
It's
the
originally a punk
fembot
rock hairstyle.
That's the
the
political
fembot statement
activist
of yeah it's
hairstyle now.
I'm trans binary. I don't identify as nothing. I don't know what they call it. They've got so many words for it. So yeah, trans
No.
because that's what she looks like.
They
They're
just
out
want to
there.
they just want a bag full of words. That's all they want, a bag full of words. So it's like you got the black trans non-binary, you got the black indigenous person of color, the black. Soon we're gonna have the black Latinx person of color, and
Yeah.
the gay,
Differently
the gay,
abled.
the gay pansexual,
Oh, goodness.
polygamous, polygamous,
Hey,
polyamorous,
they're racking up
lesbian.
those characters with Captain America. I mean, they're racking them up. Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm
it's
just
like
like,
they have their BIPOC now. They have their letter mafia character. They have their strong female Mary Sue character now. It's like they've ostracized the Ruski and they've ostracized the white male. Like, I think we're up to 5 different versions of Captain America right now.
Man, he says unless you want to draw a chihuahua, in which case just draw a rat. No, don't disrespect rats. Rats are more. I'm gonna tell you right now, rats are way more intelligent than freaking chihuahuas. Chihuahuas just want to fight everybody.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought rats just they just look just disgusting.
Here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
Don't call yourself a 7 when you look like a wet rat. That's all I'm saying. You are not a 7. It's like for all those girls with unrealistic.
Let me tell you something, Leia plus size.
I'm a 7. It's like, look, you're a 4. You might think about maybe dating a 4 and maybe doing a little work, kind of, eat a little less. And
let me address the lovely Leia Valor about the rats, Trooper.
And get yourself get yourself a dude that's a 5. That to me is a win. That is a win right there.
I'm just saying. If you ever doubt a rat's intelligence, you are in the wrong for that, because these little motherfuckers, excuse me, get in everything. They find a way to get, bruh. Me and the janitor looked underneath our popcorn machine, and there was a empty Kit Kat wrapper with rat bite marks all around the openings.
Oh, bro, I got a story for you. Let
me finish though.
This thing was a thought, cat, by the way.
Hold the thought there though. But bruh, that thing was lit clean. Like they piranha the hell out of it. There was no trace of chocolate, but there was rat shit all around it though.
All right, I used to know this dude who used to do parts and maintenance for a big box retailer. Okay. Now we've set the stage. So he told me about a story where what was happening, and apparently they started finding droppings. Okay, cool, whatever. That means we got to call someone. So long story short, this thing was about the size of a cat, but no one ever saw this thing because this thing was smart. So this thing used to come out at night, and if anyone has ever worked retail, most of the lights go down. It's always usually like partial lights. So this thing was crawling out from the freaking ceiling boards. He had made his big old little nest or whatever. I don't know how he figured it out, but he would get down to about ground level or whatever. He would go to the bread aisle, snatch a whole loaf. We're talking like plastic bag or whatever, drag it up to his nest. And he would just go crazy on that. And that's what he would eat. And, every other, you would find open packages and nibbles and stuff like that. But this dude was all about his carbs. I mean, this thing got huge. So he took this sucker out. He took a picture. He showed me the photo. I was like, it's so gross. I was
speaking of
New York City, New York City length right there.
Speaking of rolling like animals, just this morning in the wee hours in the morning, I'm about ready to go out and have my walk, and there was 2 skunks about to leave our yard. And one, I think it was 3 because I only saw 2 of them leave, but then one popped up and he looked dead at me like he was ready to fight. I'm like, bruh, all I wanted to do was get a picture of you so I can post on Facebook to show everybody what we sometimes deal with every midnight, because they'll spray their stuff on any unsuspected animal,
What Matt posted.
Yeah, I'm like, bro. And then on my way to the park, right?
Hmm.
Another one popped up, and he looked like he was ready to spray me. I was like, "Bruh, you spray me? I ain't even trying to approach you, and you looking at me like you ready to spray me. You looking
Uh-uh.
at me like you ready to spray." And again, when I get to the park, there's two of them walking around, and there's skunk smell all over. It's like, oh no, y'all migrating, aren't you?
I was
Freaking
looking at
mi-
Matt Flynn's comment. Take a look at that. I do.
yeah,
No, 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 not the, yeah, that one. Uh, for reals, for reals, these females do look like that now. It's like it's like they give you like the worst representation of what you think
and
a female looks like, right?
and majority of them are the females that are doing this. Like I hardly ever see males that add all that stuff like polyamorous and
Yeah.
uh switch, and they even add switch and top and whatever. I'm like, okay, you're a switch. That's
But
I mean,
But as a female, I find this incredibly insulting. This making these women look like men. I find it absolutely insulting, and I think this is coming. These fembots that sit on Twitter because their life is pitiful. They have no hobby or purpose or anything to do in their life, and they
Mhm.
feel because either they went out to a nightclub and they didn't get hit on. Now they want to take it out on women who have maybe breast or hips or whatever. So
Mhm.
now they want to destroy
you
all of it.
took
That's
away her
all
agency
fictitious.
because you gave her breasts.
Yes, that is just insult. I find it insulting. I'm telling you, as a woman, this is insulting. Women have breasts. Get over it.
Well, that's
Okay,
like, was it
that's what
Mother's
There's
they're.
a
Day?
purpose for it. Milk.
Yes,
We've gone from Mother's Day to Birthing Person's Day.
and
So,
That's what they
we'll
call it now, or is that what you call it?
yes, bro.
yeah, that's what they want to call it because they don't like they're not liking motherhood. Now
Well,
they've
yeah, because
passed.
dudes can have kids now apparently, but it's like no, that's a female taking testosterone. It's still a female. It's like however I want to portray
Women don't
itself.
appreciate the idea of a man carrying a child
I don't.
whatsoever. Whatsoever. That is, bruh. If there's one power that women respect the most,
Hmm.
it's the ability to give birth. That's the one thing that they used to compare us to when it comes to judging men about what our nature was,
Hmm.
which is back then they used to think that all we do is destroy, right?
Right.
Whereas this is, and of course this is where they get competitive with us. It's like, well, you don't know what it's like to create life inside of you, which I respect. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like good
res
for you. Good for you. I don't want to
like
do 9 months of that.
look
Like I don't know anyone that wants to do 9 months of that.
look. This
Like
is
you
one
be
thing
you.
I'll give the utmost respect on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you create life, but we supply the seed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
we still supply the seed.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
the garden. Instead
Hmm.
of thinking of yourself as an incubator, think of yourself as a garden. We are planting a flower inside you. You are helping that flower grow. Once that child come out, that child has come into bloom.
Hmm.
That
I think
child is
I
a product of male and female.
mm-hmm.
Not in the sense of but the father and the mother. And like you said, you need both. We
Yeah.
carry the child grows inside of us, but we can't do it by ourselves. We got to have that seed, like you said.
Yep.
So,
Mm-hmm.
amen on
Yep.
that, Wolf.
Yep.
Like you talking you create life. Yeah, you can create life, but how do you receive that life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where does it come from? You don't, bruh. We're not lizards. We don't reproduce asexually. Last time I
Hmm.
checked, if women had the ability to reproduce asexually, yeah, I would say okay, you don't need us no more. So so child support ain't a thing anymore, is it? Because that child's gonna come out and there's no genetic traits coming from a man.
Hmm.
Obviously, you're gonna have probably gonna have some femboys.
Goodness.
That's
Uh,
what that like if humans have to reproduce asexually, specifically the women now, I'm
hmm.
like them gonna be a lot. They're gonna be an army of femboys then.
There's going to be
Uh,
plenty of unsatisfied people.
mhm.
What, in what do you think in the history with kings And the rule is, why do you think they had so many mistresses and so many wives? Because they needed as many heirs as those women could pop out. Your
Hmm.
role in the court of Louis, from Louis to the court of Louis XIV to Henry VIII, your job when you married the king was make as many babies as you can give him.
Hmm.
That's why do you think they needed women?
Why do you
Yeah.
think mammals make so many pups
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
in their first litter to expand that that growth, that family growth, that unit.
Right.
Because at this point, when you see a wolf pack or even a dog pack or even a herd for that matter, you're
Mm-hmm.
not taking on one animal, you're taking on a whole family. That is a family that you're taking on. Those are sons, daughters, possible nieces and nephews, or cousins that you're facing if you want to apply the human trait to the animal unit like that. When it comes to the wolves, especially when it comes to the lions, those are sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, what have you,
Right.
that you're dealing with. So of course they're gonna attack as a unit like that. Specifically the females. You don't want to deal with them female lions. Them lionesses. Mm-mm.
Oh goodness.
Mm-mm. Excuse me for what I'm about to say, Leia. Bitches stay together, they slay together.
Yes.
It's all
Like,
right.
yeah, yeah. Like, okay, sure.
Well,
I'm the,
did you hear about this this Twitter where this artist somebody wrote over his famous drawing of Mary Jane Watson from Spider-Man. I
J.
forgot.
Scott Camel.
Yeah, and then some fembot drew over it and took her breast out and said, "There, it's fixed." So she didn't like that Mary Jane had breasts.
Just like
So
what I said about the fixing stop editing people's art without their permission.
yeah,
Like I said, and I've said this again a play times a lot of streams. So I said this is never gonna stop unless we say it has to stop, or at least we actually have to step up and step in and pretty much either back up the good people that they're attacking,
Mm-hmm.
or B, draw with impunity to really illustrate what is it that's really appealing about the art. Really the not necessarily the breast, but basically just the respect of the body, the
Mm-hmm.
respect of the design of the body, especially now. Let's put God back in here. Let's put him back in here now. Basically appreciate God's design, right? Design of man, design of woman. Design of man is beautiful. The design of woman is absolutely beautiful. So you're basically messing with what God designed, but God doesn't exist. Fuck you if you don't believe he exists. I don't think he exists, but I respect enough for those who do believe he exists. So if you're gonna respect what nature designed, you gotta respect what people believe to be what God designed. There is no either or, and there is no option for you to just denounce that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect that. If you respect nature, if we're respecting nature alongside with you, you have to respect God alongside them. So you believe in nature, we believe in God. Minus me, we believe in God.
Oh goodness.
I'm fumbling on my words. I'm getting slightly hungry, but I'm toughing it out though. I just ate, mind you, I just ate earlier. I just ate, so it's weird.
Well,
It's
are you
weird how
eating fast food or are you just
no,
like
I'm not eating no damn fast food. I ate shrimp, broccoli, French fries, homemade by the way, not that McDonald's bullshit.
mm-hmm.
Well, I actually like McDonald's French fries. I will admit, I
I'll
do. I
admit too.
will admit it.
Tip
But
to that.
I a little sometimes a McDonald's French fries won't hurt you. But what you sound like today is very good. Except I'm allergic to shrimp, so I
Tip to
can't
that.
eat
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm allergic.
I'm allergic
Uh,
to shrimp, so I
which
can't
is really
touch it.
funny. No, so tip to that: if you're gonna go to McDonald's and get some clown food, it's make sure that you ask for no salt on your fries. They have to start a whole new batch. Uh, and they use peanut oil. They use peanut oil, and they pretty much
Mm,
fry everything in that same peanut oil. So that peanut oil is already salted. So
yeah.
it's going to have a different taste, and it's going to actually be a lot tastier than with salt because the salt literally covers up the taste of peanut oil. But
I don't
yeah,
know what the context there, Matthew.
so yeah,
Like
so
rabbits.
heck yeah, heck yeah,
I don't even know the context there, but I'm liking it though.
get your concubines. So so yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
go
think
to
I know now.
McDonald's,
I
make
think
sure
I
you
know
get
now.
the concubines.
He means the human race needs to screw like rabbits so that they could keep a stronger unit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got to outnumber the pink hairs because they're not going to be doing it. So,
Yes, they're not.
it's empowering. It's empowering to be single and barren. So,
Well, but they only in their mind that they would think that. Only
yeah,
in their
I'm
mind.
gonna
Yes, it was a big
I'm
thing.
gonna quickly address Melissa Harris is coming here. She
Hmm.
says my son Jake are attracted to Asian girls or Western girls because Western girls are unattracted to him because he don't like woke SJW women and he sees them as unstable mentally and unattractive. Now here's the thing, Melissa. Here's the thing. I'm going to respect Jake to have for having a personal preference, Asian women. Okay,
mhm.
let's be real. That's his personal preference. Where I
Yeah.
respect that.
Okay.
Might I suggest you to also encourage him to try to branch out his horizons, though, to really test out the waters. Now, I'm not saying he should go seek out an SJW. No, no,
No
no, no, no,
woman.
no. None of that. Not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is that he suggest to him to be sociable around people, not just women. People. I'm pretty sure he has a lot of friends. I'm sure
Mhm.
from what you've been telling me about him. I'm pretty sure he has a lot of friends. But make sure he has to make sure he's always comfortable with being sociable at least.
Well, and here's the thing,
And
like,
like you and do what you're doing. Encourage confidence.
well,
Always continue to encourage confidence. Go
yeah,
ahead.
like there's also some cross cultural considerations because not all Asian girls are the same. So,
Right.
um, that's the other thing too, because what may come across on the anime screen is not what you're going to get in real life. So, but oddly enough, just to talk about it a little bit more, because Wolf and I were back in the green room and we were talking about this as far as
Mhm.
women that openly embrace, being feminine, just as an example. And it's tending to be more of a pattern now.
Mhm.
When you're injecting critical race theory or any of this nonsense about how being lonely and and miserable is somehow empowering as a woman, like I was telling him that my brother has two friends who ended up having to make some cultural considerations. Now, it's really funny how this works out because
And it always do work out in the end.
yeah, the pattern that I saw in my brother's friends having to actually look outside of what they would normally be exposed to.
Right.
One friend ended up with a Thai woman, and then the other friend that he knows ended up with a woman who has a doctorate
Remember what I asked you
from
just now when you brought up
Kyrgyzstan.
the Thai woman?
So yeah,
Remember what I asked you when you brought up the fact that she was a Thai woman?
yeah, you got to check for girl or boy penis. So
Did I was like, did they check her package first?
yeah,
Because
but yeah,
I make that joke, but like it's truth in what I'm saying. Like a lot of Thai women are not necessarily women before
yeah, just
because
ladies.
surgery, money for surgery is actually or at least how much it costs in Thailand is
Oh,
actually pretty cheaper.
dude, it's like what is it, $1 to 38 Thai dollars or something like that.
Pretty
But
much.
but
And apparently they're freaking good at what they do.
yeah, but case in point, what we're getting at is that in order for men to find women that embrace, the traditional role, they're having to literally look in the most odd places now to actually find someone who embraces being feminine, if you will, as far as women go. Western women, yeah, they're out there. It just depends on where you look. And then that also kind of tends to correlate with, say, religion in some certain parts of the country. And then that also tends to correlate with if they come from a big family or if they come
Mm.
from a small family. If they come from a small family, they're probably not as apt to, you know, be exposed to being feminine because they don't have sisters. Or what you tend to find is if they're from a bigger family, they like having a sense of family. So they have an idea of what family placement means having, a husband, means having, boys and girls in the same house, and that the needs of boys and girls are different. You know, if you have a
Once
single
you're done,
family
Trooper,
household,
I'm gonna
yeah,
address Melissa again. I wanted to say something to her about
yeah.
her about the SJW thing. You see her comment already. You know what I'm talking about.
But
But
yeah, I mean,
continue
if
with
he's
the thing.
if he's into East Asian females, he probably will have to look outside the country because Western Asian females are just as caustic as the other Western females that you said are caustic. Because guess
Mm,
what? They're all being programmed, with the same
as
stuff.
well.
Yeah,
Any race of woman out here in Western America.
yeah, and I would say first world countries at this point.
Oh
So I mean
wow,
that's the consideration because this is first world problems. I hate to say it, it's a first world problem,
it is a first world problem.
and it's happening, and it's not just happening here. It's happening in Matt's neck of the woods too.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna
so
Mhm.
spread. It's
it's
gonna spread.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Now,
So
so far, from what I heard, Japan has not been hit with that
well,
BS.
no, because they're ethnocentric. They're a monoculture. You know,
Hmm.
like I said before in other streams, that the everyone says diversity is our strength, and yes and no. I tend to be on the no side of that because when we inject diversity into a group of people, then what really holds them together? It has to be ideology. And if you start tearing at that ideology, guess what? They're no longer. It's they start to splinter, and that tends to happen now because critical race theory is attacking Americanism in terms of ideology. So I mean, they're focusing on what makes you different from you and me. Oh, well, you're black. Oh, well, you're white. Oh, well, you're a woman. Oh, well, you're a bi-indigenous person of color with stumps and differently abled. So, I mean, they're tearing at what keeps us together at this point. And now we're so fixated on what is so different that we can't see past it. And I mean, generically speaking, in terms of pop culture. I mean, if you were just talking to your neighbor or the person on the street, they're not going to feel like that. They're going to think that kind of stuff is trash because they're from a different generation. They're from a time, whether it's the 90s or maybe the early 2000s or the 80s, where the world was geared differently. So to them, they're still living in a part of that vacuum, if you will.
Hmm.
But anyone that's been brought up on CRT, all they see is CRT
Hmm.
in pop culture, in movie, in advertisements, in clothing stores, in the way these laws are being created, especially in places like California, where you got to mix the girls and the boy stuff together in the same section, or face a fine, because now we're pushing transgenderism, which this is another way of
Hey,
chemically.
Dominic.
Hey, Dominic, which is just another way of chemically castrating individuals and not giving them a choice of who they really are. And now they're choosing to be a false person instead of being their authentic self. So,
Exactly.
To address Melissa Harris about her son about not liking SJWs, just warn him about the lines they use. You know, like the as a or the so you. They'll. Here's the thing about SJWs, female and SJW. Yeah, excuse me. That actually actually mushed together somehow. SJW females, they come at you like a wolf in sheep's clothing. and I hate to use that term because that's an insult to my species, but still, wolves. Let's just say wolves are way more dignified than these broads. There, I used the other 5 letter word that I'm more comfortable with than the other 5 letter word that I use so liberally. But anyways,
Mhm.
they always they tend to start out being nice and playful, or they try to be self aware, right,
Mhm.
and very self deprecating in a way, in a way. But then they start saying as soon as they say as a, once they begin their next sentence with as a, or
As a
so
woman of color,
or
Yeah.
so
mind you, it's a
you,
dude. Mind you, it's a dude, right?
yeah, or so you,
Mm-hmm.
or what's another phrase that they like to always say. Now we know the common phrases like racist and sexist,
Um,
or or they bring up the word social justice, or or this phrase I love, we need to.
yeah, yeah.
You ever hear that phrase come from? We need to, or
Mm-hmm.
or you need to consider this, or trust in this,
Mm-hmm.
or 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 sometimes they'll even talk in this way, or I think you know,
Mm-hmm.
or this phrase I love the most. Um, it's important to me.
It's like, well, that's good to know.
Not,
I would think it's important to you because you're bringing it up. Mm.
I'm pretty sure you heard those lines, right, Leia plus size, a few times.
I've heard every last one. Yes, I've heard every last one
So
of
yeah,
them.
make sure you.
Not for
What
me.
I'm saying is, Melissa, make sure you clue in on those. Make sure he remembers those phrases sometimes, or
Or
like
let's have a conversation,
yeah,
or
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah, educate yourself,
yeah, that too.
or you're a misogynist, or I can't be racist because racism equals privilege plus discrimination. So they're already taking themselves out of the conversation. I think that was my favorite one. Or
Yeah.
we need a safe space to discuss this.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Listen out for that one. We need
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or they name some of their favorite
Hmm.
quote unquote heroes, like what's that one broad name, she's that one famous that died
Mm.
yet last year. What'd you
Oh.
say, Leia? You far away.
Oh, let me come up closer. Back to here. I'm cooking. Who did you say had died?
That feminist that died last year.
Shoot, I can't think of her name right now. Tells you how much she's
Starts with
how
a
much she
G.
hits me.
Starts with a
I can't think.
G.
See how much I follow. I don't even.
Not
I can't think.
not Greta. Not Greta.
No, she just turned 18.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, milady. No, I'm kidding.
I'm trying to think. Gloria Steinem? No.
Probably.
No.
I'm probably getting that wrong. But yeah, she was a
It probably was her. I'm not sure. It might have been
not.
Steinem.
Mm.
Maybe. I think it might have been her. I'm
Let
not.
me check
I'm
the
not sure.
comments. See if somebody Ginsburg. Yeah, Ruth Baker
Oh, you're
Ginsburg.
talking about
Oh,
Notorious
oh,
RBG. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Which we just replaced with another version of RBG, which wasn't any better. But you
yeah.
know,
Mm,
everyone was on that boat for that one. I'm like, no. I'm like, first, it's sending a bad message. There was a whole litany of issues with that one. When they brought that name up, I was like, oh man, this is not going to go well. So, but
yeah, that's messed up.
mhm. Hey, you know what? And it's going to happen. It's going to happen because we're not. Again, I hate bringing this up every time something like that happens. But the moment you start secularizing society and you start changing a set of moral values, suddenly it's okay and it's justified to assault another human, another human being.
And worse, it's really encouraged towards women.
Oh yeah.
It's really encouraged towards women because they know they can get away with it.
Oh yeah, you got to hit back. You got to hit back. It's like, whatever happened to you bringing it to my attention that I may have done something that may have, rubbed you the wrong way, so that I don't do it again. And then maybe we can have a dialogue and maybe really decide that we really are, friends, or we really are kind of made for each other, or you know what, we're really not. And maybe we're just coworkers and we just have it professional every time.
I think really the aim is to discourage social interaction, period.
It is. It honestly is, because having the roundtable today, what have we done? We've had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We've touched on ownership. We've touched on accountability. We've touched on surface appearances. In terms of, there are some things that you can control and some things that you can't, but you can take steps to minimize that. We've touched upon how retailers take advantage of whatever it is they can take money from you for, in terms of, there's a whole health and diet industry that literally makes money off of supplements that, I mean, if you pay attention to, they're just fillers. You have to know what you're putting in your body. So
yeah, everybody's always looking for that miracle thing that fixes all their problems.
yeah, that silver bullet.
Well, not for Wolf. No silver bullet.
You keep that away from me, you jack. Yeah. Now that you're about to bring up the fact that you're about to dip out, yeah, it's
Yes.
time for us to
Yeah. I just
Yes.
noticed the time too. So
Yes, I've got to
So,
finish
yeah.
dinner. So I've got to, where I live, it's getting in the evening. So I've got to finish
yeah.
dinner up. So, so I can eat.
cool.
But
All right, everybody. That being said, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Those few of you who did. I don't know if you guys are getting tired of this type of talk, but hopefully we'll have something that bring a lot of people in. I'm not saying I'm actually caring about numbers right now, but like at this moment, the numbers have been consistent so far. I looked at the numbers lately, and the highest viewership still goes to the first we watched with me and Owen Lister, but of recent was the Van Helsing rewatch, sitting on 98 views, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I missed where
I think
where,
Troy was.
Papa went all
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably why.
I'm gonna have
But,
to go back and see if I can find a timestamp for that. So
no, no. The thing is, he went incognito on it, so you ain't gonna hear nothing. Like I said, Ma Pacelli had messaged me secretly about it, and I just basically kept it under wraps. So I didn't want everybody to worry that night. So I was like, Troy would have been here for a while, but he had something to deal with. So sadly. But anyways, like to thank everybody for showing up today. Like to thank my wingman, Trooper FN 2525.
Hey guys, it's been fantastic. It was a really productive discussion. I'm glad everyone has gone ahead and just engaged with the chat and, placing your thoughts and comments. If you like more of this content, go ahead, just like, subscribe, go ahead and share it. Go ahead and leave ideas in the comments. Wolf is always diligent about looking through that stuff for more fresh ideas. I'd like to thank Leia for spending some time with me today, and Wolf spending some time with me today also. So from Imperial Occupied Balmora, this is Trooper FN2525 saying farewell.
I need to change your name to Sweet Talker.
Right.
I'd like to thank the lovely Lady of Valor, Lady Plus Size, for sharing her rich and beautiful history and life story to this conversation, as always.
Well, thank you, Commander. And thank you for those that joined us today to stay here. We hope that we left you with something to think about. In this day and age, we need more discussion and talk and reasonable conversation. And we're not forcing you to think our way. We want you to have the tools to think for yourself. So we hope we left you something to think on. And you have a good evening. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time.
This has been your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. I'm your werewolf. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining us, and welcome to the Wolf. Sorry, excuse me. Welcome to the US.
It's
Uh,
getting late.
The best
Well,
stream in the Citadel. Best stream
yes.
it's
in the Citadel.
it's
Uh-huh.
it's fun. It's funny because I had a good sign out Tuesday. I'm gonna try this again. Welcome to the Wolf. Yeah. All right, let me try this again. Welcome to the UN Spacey Wolf Fleet. Thank you, everybody. Ow!